Hey. How
What's
is
up?
everyone?
Lefty, shut up. It
What
wasn't even that
is-
late. It's 1 minute.
I know. God. So cleany. How is everyone today?
Shelly, you should just time him out. Hi, Mel.
Let's-
There's 2 detectives today, so
Okay. I'm sure they're super honest.
and I have a kid that's being a giant pain today, so enjoy that. I'm going to super enjoy having him in here.
Hey, Melissa. Christine.
Hi, Pixie.
I forgot you set up my dual thing, so I'll do that right now. But
I was going to say it should be up there. I clicked
okay.
the button.
Yeah, you did your part. I failed miserably.
Should we just go ahead and start it?
Yeah,
So I would like to
going.
get through it today, so because there's some fun stuff at the very end
Of the day?
so- Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. You mean like fun stuff at the end of the day? So, and put on
Good afternoon.
1.25.
Good afternoon, OWAY.
And what is your current occupation, sir?
I am the detective lieutenant at the Westerville Division of Police.
And what is that?
I am in charge of the Westerville Detective Bureau, overseeing the data.
And the detective.
Approximately a year and a half at this point.
Did you have law enforcement experience prior to that?
Yes, sir. I am in my 22nd year of law enforcement at this point.
Okay. Can you tell us
Are you having
uh,
video issues on your end?
how you got started in law enforcement?
I came to training back in 2000. From there, I
Farrell,
spent
maybe
about
you can
5
send
years
me
as
the
a
link,
patrol officer working the street,
and I can
street
try to do it
officer
from my
service.
end.
From there, I went in as a school resource officer for about 4 years. And then I was promoted in 2009
Oh, she's doing something with her kids.
before I was moved into the detective bureau as a sergeant.
And so all of your law enforcement experience, about 22 years, all of Westerville?
Yes, it is.
I want to take you back to May.
Yeah, I'm trying to. We're working on it. Yeah, I slid into Farrell's DMs. Sorry about this, guys. Hold on, guys. Unless our internet. Somebody text me. No. Oh wait. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up now. Let's see. Excuse me. Why no Farrell? So it looks like, where were we? So I'm just getting the time now. Or 24:26. And now I'm just going to excuse me while I present myself. Okay. Go ahead and add it to the stream, Farrell. And I'm going to make it big, like I always do. Wait. Oh, I just did the wrong one. Whoops. Watch live. Okay, now add that, Cyril. And I'm going to advance it.
Overseeing
And
day-to-day operation.
there we go. And Matt, if you're watching, I am really sorry. Just blame Farrell, not me. She's going to go restart now, so
And the long
we're all set up.
of the Bureau.
And how long have you been the detective lieutenant?
Approximately a year and a half at this point.
Did you have law enforcement experience prior to that?
Yes, sir. I am in my 22nd year of law enforcement at this point.
Okay. Can you tell us how you got started in law enforcement?
I can. I attended the Ohio State Highway Patrol Academy for my basic training back in 2000. From there, I spent about 5 years as a patrol officer working the street, answering calls for service. From there, I went in as a school resource officer for about 4 years. And then I was promoted in 2009. We had corporals at the time. I worked as a corporal for about 10 years before I was moved into the Detective Bureau as a sergeant.
And so all of your law enforcement experience, about 22 years, all of Westerville?
Yes, it is.
I want to take you back to May 25th of 2020. What was your rank at that time?
At that point, I was assigned as the sergeant in the Detective Bureau.
And so what did a detective sergeant do with that?
I was tasked with reviewing all of the reports that came in on a daily basis, determining whether those cases would be closed out or whether we were going to assign those to detectives for further investigation.
And so what does that process look like? Walk the jury through how you look at a case and decide if a detective's going to.
Absolutely. So every case that we have that comes in on our computer. We read through that case, determine what the probability is that we can solve that case. A lot of different factors that are associated with it, whether there's been a suspect identified, whether we believe we can identify one or not, and then make that decision whether we're going to pass that on to a detective.
Does the Detective Bureau jump into every single traffic stop or law enforcement interaction that the patrol officers have?
No. While we'll read through every report, we will not assign every one of those cases.
How do you get those reports? Is there some sort of daily briefing or some sort of summary sheet? What do you get that you're looking at?
How's this sound,
We
guys?
do have a briefing sheet that is sent out to our division that gives a basic overview of what had happened the day before, as well as on our computer system, our records management system. We have a list of all the reports that have been unassigned and that are still open that we can review.
And so is that at the time as a detective sergeant, is that generally how your day started, reviewing reports and seeing what needed to go to a detective?
Yes, it is.
Well, I turn your attention to May 26th of 2020. Were you on duty as a detective sergeant on that day?
Yes, I was.
And did you review that summary or briefing sheet of the prior day's law enforcement interactions?
I did, but I had actually been approached by Detective Grubbs prior to me reviewing the cases that he had seen a case that he had interest in.
And what was that case specifically?
That was a missing persons report reporting that Emily Noble had been missing.
And so that was based on the interaction that the patrol had the day before.
That is correct.
So now Sergeant Hollis, who had been dispatched out to the scene, you were aware of those general facts and information at the time then when you're looking to assign a detective.
That is correct.
Do you assign a detective to every single missing person report?
Eventually we will. A lot of times we'll have missing kids that are runaways that they honestly just don't want to be found. And so we'll take a little bit more time before we get to those, or people that are just running away for whatever reason we don't know. But no, not everyone gets the attention immediately.
This one did get, well, Detective Grubbs, you said, had expressed interest in it. Did you review the initial information on the case?
Yes, I did.
And did you determine that a detective should be assigned?
Yes.
And did you assign Detective Grubbs as the lead investigator?
Yes, I did.
Did you have at that time a general understanding of what had occurred with the initial patrol response?
Yes, I did. I've read the initial report and had a general understanding of it.
And what was that general understanding?
Just that a 52-year-old female had gone missing from her home. There wasn't any other type of extenuating circumstances, no notes left that she was going to leave or harm herself, and that it just seemed strange to the patrol officers.
And were you aware about the location of Emily Noble's belongings, those types of things?
Yes, I was. I was told that her wallet, phone, and keys were left at the residence.
And were those all factors you considered in your decision to assign a detective to investigate?
Yes, they were.
To your knowledge, as of May 26th, had there been any, again, we're talking morning of May 26th, right, as you're assigning the case, had any areas been searched at that time?
Yes, I had been told that the patrol officers had searched the immediate area around the residence.
And as of that time, Emily was not located.
That is correct.
When you assign a case to a detective, is that detective then responsible, or is that, let me back up, is that detective going to conduct the entire investigation by themselves?
It depends on the case. Any larger cases, they are kind of responsible for the overall delegation of tasks that need to be completed during that investigation.
And so Detective Grubbs was appointed as lead investigator?
He was.
And did you periodically interact with Detective Grubbs about how the investigation was going, stay involved, that kind of thing?
Yes, I did.
I want to talk first about initial, let me put up the map here. Lieutenant, can you see that okay?
Yes, I can.
Can you tell us, for the record, this is Defense Exhibit D up on the overhead. Can you tell us generally what it is we're looking at here?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the neighborhood to the northeast of the intersection of State and County line.
And is that neighborhood the neighborhood where Emily Noble lives?
Yes.
Did you have any knowledge generally of the area that had been looked at the previous day?
Yes, I did.
And where was that?
I was told that the officers had searched along the wooded area along the bike path that runs north and south on the right.
Aw, Beryl has an
You can actually
update.
draw right on the screen by touching that if you want.
Right in this area.
Did you discuss with Detective Grubbs what the kind of first steps of his investigation were going to be?
Yes, I did.
And what was that, sir?
The initial task that we wanted Detective Grubbs to complete was to go out and talk to Mr. Moore to gather more information and see if there had been any updates from the previous day to the next morning.
Is there a phrase you use to describe that kind of law enforcement interaction?
Sure. In law enforcement, we call it a knock and talk. Basically, we're going to knock on the door and just talk to somebody.
And to your knowledge, did Detective Grubbs go out to do that knock and talk with Mr. Moore?
Yes, he did.
Were you involved in setting up anything with the investigation there on May 26th?
Yes, I was. Due to the nature of the missing, we wanted to get a bloodhound involved in the case as quickly as possible to see if Emily might have walked off someplace. So we contacted actually the Delaware County Sheriff's Office to begin with because I knew that they had a bloodhound in the past. From there, we were referred to the Crawford County Sheriff's Office, who did have a bloodhound, who sent their dog down to help us.
And what was the idea of getting a bloodhound involved?
A bloodhound is typically able to track someone based on the scent of that person. So we wanted to see if Emily maybe left the condo and walked in a certain direction that would lead our searches to a certain direction.
Were you able to locate a canine bloodhound from Crawford County?
Yes, they did respond to the scene.
And did you go out to the scene when that canine arrived?
Yes, I did. I accompanied them during the search.
Generally speaking, can you describe where you went as a result of that bloodhound?
Yes, we left out of the residence and worked to the east. May I mark on the exhibit?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me clear all that else so we know where. Okay, go ahead.
We started at the residence here and came to the east. And we had two different dogs throughout the process that we'll talk about. I can't remember if the Crawford County Bloodhound came through here or around here, but came up this way and through these woods and stopped at that driveway there.
Shit.
In addition to that, let me back up. Did you then search that area of the woods up north of the condo as a result of the bloodhound going that direction?
Yes, we did.
And was anything located?
Nothing was located there.
Were there other searches you also participated in on May 26th?
On the 26th, I don't believe that there were any others at that point.
Were there other searches
Sorry, Farrell.
by other people you weren't personally involved in?
Yes, I was told of many that occurred.
Were you aware of any searches that were done by the Westerville Fire Department?
Yes, I am.
And where was that location that was done?
They checked the area to the southeast of State and County line, down in this area. And also, you can't see on this map, but there's a wooded area to the northwest corner as well that they searched up in through here.
So more towards on either side of the intersection of State Street and County Line Road.
Correct.
Lieutenant, are you familiar with the location where Emily was ultimately found?
Yes, I am.
And you show us generally on the map where that was. Did the Westerville Police Department have anybody specifically into that area of the woods on the May 25th or May 26th?
No, we did not.
I want to turn your attention to the next day, then May 27th. Did you receive other information about Emily Noble on that day?
We received information constantly. We had tips coming in all the time about this, and we did have a meeting about the case that morning.
Did you receive any kind of a call from a local dental office?
Yes, I did.
And what do you recall about that?
I'd received a call that morning from a dental office saying that Emily had a dentist appointment earlier that day. I believe it was supposed to be at 8 o'clock that she did not show up for.
Hey, Luna. Clumsy.
And the Westerville Police Department obtained records from the dental office related to that.
Yes, we did.
What was sort of the next step in the investigation then at that?
The next step we wanted to conduct was a search warrant at the residence because that was the last place that we knew Emily to be, and we wanted to make sure we could secure any evidence if there was any there.
And was a search warrant obtained to go and search the condo?
Yes, it was.
Is that a one officer kind of an event?
No, and when we have a search warrant of this nature, we have pretty much all of our detectives that are available assist with that.
And how is a plan put together for what to do and what kind of job duties are assigned?
Before we go out on the search warrant, we'll sit down, all the detectives that are going to go out, and we will assign different tasks, whether it be taking photos, laying out room letters, or whether it's actually the search that they're involved in, so they know what their duties are before they go out.
Were you aware of what Detective Grubb's plan was going to be during the execution of the search warrant?
Yes, I was.
And what was that, sir?
He and Detective Peachy were going to ask Mr. Moore to come back to the police station and discuss the circumstances.
Were other officers then going to remain on scene and conduct the actual search of the condo?
Yes, there were.
What's he fiddling with there?
As the condo was searched, were there photographs taken of the
Yes.
location?
Yes, there were.
And were you on scene at the condo during the search warrant, or what was your role?
I was on scene during the search warrant. I did a quick walkthrough of the residence, but then my position was out front, just assisting with anything the officers needed as they went in and out.
On May 27th, was there also another canine that was involved?
Yes, there was.
And what canine was that?
That was a human remains detection dog that we requested. We have a trainer that we work with for our canines that he was familiar with a canine that had human remains detection ability in Cleveland, and we'd asked for her to come down and participate in that search.
And do you know who that was?
Her name was Danielle Fate.
And when, if you recall, did she get to the scene?
I can't pull up
I
chats,
believe it was
but
about an
Eris
hour
put
or so
the
into
link
search
to the
warrant.
book.
She came down and met us.
And did you have a conversation with her?
Yes, I did.
And did she walk her dog around a certain area?
Yes. I explained to her the general circumstances, and I asked for her to walk the dog through the residence as well as around the cars. And then there were some wooded areas that we would like for her to check.
And so did the dog check the cars in the area of the condo?
Yes.
Any indications or anything stand out at that point?
There were no alerts there.
Did you go with that canine for the other search areas?
Yes, I did.
And so can you tell us where you went with that canine?
Yes, we went east on County Line Road from crossings, right through this area, right along the sidewalk, and then up the bike path. And she had the dog go up to the woods during this whole time, during this walk.
So you said along the sidewalk. Can you describe what that area looks like?
Yes, you've got the 4-lane County Line Road, then there a little grassy strip, the sidewalk, and then it goes directly into the wooded area.
And where was the dog deployed as you were standing there?
We actually walked from the residence down to County Line, and we walked, and she began her search right in this area.
At any time as you walked with that dog, did the dog go into the woods?
No, the dog went up to the woods, but did not walk into the woods.
So along, it would be fair to describe that as along the tree line
Yes,
in between the sidewalk and the tree line, but not actually into any of the woods.
that is correct.
And any alerts or anything during that process?
No, there were no alerts there.
After those initial searches in the first couple of days, what were you involved in next?
Next, we contacted a group called Texas EquiSearch. They are an organization based out of Texas, but they have chapters throughout the United States that have volunteers that are willing to come together to help search in missing person cases.
And who makes a decision to involve that type of organization?
I did.
And what is the purpose of getting someone like that involved?
It allows them to conduct the searches for us. I met with their director, their regional director, Dave Rader, and he mentioned to us that he's trained his people that if they should find anything, to leave it alone and call us immediately. So that allowed them to do the searches while we focused on the other aspects of the investigation.
Do you meet with the chapter president?
Yes, I did.
What kind of information did you communicate to him at that time?
We just give him a basic understanding that we had a 52-year-old female that had walked away, presumably from her residence. And that's all the information we had at that point.
Were there, did you talk to them about what areas to be searched?
No, I really didn't need to. Dave was able to look at maps of the area based on his training and experience of searches that he has done in the past and found areas that he wanted to have his team search just based on his knowledge in the past.
And at that time, were you under the misconception that somebody had been into all of the wooded areas that were nearest the condo?
Yes, I was.
And was that true?
No, it was not.
So where did Texas EquiSearch focus their efforts initially?
So they started a broader area. They worked out toward Alum Creek Park, Hoover Reservoir, even up Route 3. If they saw any areas that were like you could pull off your vehicle, they would look in all those different areas as well.
And did those searches continue then at the end of May?
Yes, they did.
Were those just manual searches or were there other things involved?
There were other things involved. Texas EquiSearch not only brought 25 to 30 volunteers with them, they also brought drones to look through the area and also sonar boats to be able to check any bodies of water in the area.
The Texas EquiSearch, excuse me, is that a one-time thing or were they involved on multiple days?
No, we had multiple searches that they were involved in.
Wasn't
were you
that
aware of the
the-
search they conducted on June 7th?
Yes, I was.
I think involved in Casey Anthony as well.
I know that they conducted another one. That one, I believe, was primarily at the Alum Creek boat ramp area on Africa Road. Again, they did countless searches for us all over the area, but unfortunately, we're not able to find anything.
How would you describe this area of Westerville?
I'm good, Ozzy. How are
in
you?
general? Is there all
pull up
residential or are
chats.
there a lot of wooded and water?
Phil abandoned me.
I'll prevent you to answer the question. Go ahead.
So this area of Westerville is fairly grown up with
Got into a
residences.
fight.
However, just to our north is Genoa Township that has a lot
She
of wooded
stormed off
area.
angrily.
There are a lot of ponds in the area. Even in Westerville, there are a lot of ponds that people don't realize near Bob Evans, near Chase Bank, all over the place.
So a lot of places where people were looking.
Absolutely.
Was there another canine that was brought in during the investigation?
Yes, there was. On, I believe it was June 5th, I had spoken to Dave Rader, and he expressed interest in bringing a second bloodhound into the search that he had good success with in the past. And she drove in from Alabama to help us with the search on June 7th.
I'm kidding,
And
Farrell.
so, just so we're clear, we're talking again about a bloodhound, not a human remains detection dog.
Correct.
And where did, were you present when that canine was deployed?
Yes, I was.
And where was that?
We started right at the residence at 46 Abbey Cross.
And where did you go that time with the canine?
This was basically the same path of the other one. And again, I can't remember which one went between the buildings and which ones went around, but generally started here,
Oh,
came up through, and ended at this driveway again.
And anything located as a result of that search?
No, there's nothing located.
In addition to these searches, are you involved in other parts of the investigation?
Yes, I am.
Did you have contact with other law enforcement agencies?
Yes, I did.
And why did you do that?
I was contacted by the chief from Shawnee Hills Police Department, who runs a search party in Delaware County. He expressed interest in bringing a sonar boat down to, again, to check some of these water areas that the ponds or lakes that we have to make sure nothing was located there.
And did that occur as well?
Yes, it did.
And again, anything come of any of those searches?
No, unfortunately, nothing was located.
Did you have contact with other law enforcement agencies about any unidentified remains, things of that nature?
Yes, we did.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, Detective Grubbs had informed me that they had gone to Buckville, Ohio earlier in the day. So I started making some phone calls to the Athens County Sheriff's Office to see if the bodies were located down there. They said they had not, but I believe it was Perry County, did have an unidentified female that they knew about. So I made a phone call to them. However, that body had been found on April 27th, so it was unrelated to ours. And I basically called every sheriff's office between Columbus and that area.
And again, nothing came of any of that.
Nothing did.
At some point during the investigation, was there a neighborhood canvass conducted?
Yes, there was.
And did you participate in that yourself?
Yes, I did.
And what is that process about?
So what we did in that instance, Detective Grubbs and I went out to the Abbey Cross neighborhood, just knocked on all the doors in the area. We wanted to talk and ask if they knew anything about Emily, knew anything about Matt, and what they could share with us that might be able to help with our investigation.
Was there at some point in the investigation a press conference about Emily Noble being missing?
Yes, there was.
And can you tell us what kind of information was released and what that looked like?
Of course, in these instances, we just release basic information. We'll release a picture and the general circumstances that she went missing, the date and time that she left, to solicit any information that we can from the community if they had seen her.
And do you provide a way for the community to contact you about such a thing?
Yes, we do. I believe in this instance, we gave Detective Grubbs' phone number, but we also have a tip line in Westerville that they can either email or they can call into that phone number to provide anonymous information if they'd like.
Can you describe for the jury the volume of tips and things that would come into the tip line?
More than I've ever seen in my career. We had tips coming in all the time from people that thought they saw her in different states, people that saw her in what they thought was her in the city of Columbus, to psychics and mediums that wanted to give their input onto what had happened.
And did you participate in some of the follow-up on those tips and things that would come in?
I participated in the fact that I forwarded all of them to Detective Grubbs, and our direction was that we were going to follow up on every single one of them.
Any of those tips turn up any leads or anything else?
No, they did not.
The investigation continue into September of 2020?
Yes, it did.
And what do you remember about September 2020?
I remember during the day on September 16th, we received another tip that someone had located what they believed was a grave marker in the wooded area to just the west of the bike path. And Detective Grubbs, Detective Peachy, and I went out to check on that.
And where did you go into the woods that time?
So we entered the woods from the bike path area here, and approximately 100 yards in, we were able to find a small ceramic angel that was just sitting out in the open in the woods. Did you notice anything around that area? No, we didn't. We looked at the ground to see if it had looked like it was disturbed, but couldn't see anything that looked suspicious to us or out of the ordinary. Can you describe for the jury what the woods look like as you enter them from the bike path? So as you enter the woods from the bike path, they're actually surprisingly open when you get into the trees. You can see pretty far. And as you continue west, this area and through here is fairly open. And then as you get into about this area here, it almost hit like you hit a bunch of bushes and brush that you can't get through. So we checked that entire area east of that kind of barrier that was there. And so for the record, you circled the area on the eastern edge of those woods? That is correct. And so between the eastern edge of those woods and the location where Emily's body is found is that large area of overgrowth that you were discussing? That is correct. Were you working on September 16th, 2020 later in the day? Later that day, I was off approximately 3 o'clock that day. Did you receive a call later that evening? Yes, I did. I received a phone call from Lieutenant Dickinson, who was one of our patrol lieutenants, saying that they had found a body in the woods, the same wooded area that we've been circled here. What was it? The eastern edge of the woods off the bike path where you've been in before? No, it was not. Now, where was the body found? Approximately in this area here. On the other side of the overgrowth that you didn't go through when you entered from the east. Just make sure.
Just go ahead. Go ahead and ask your question.
It was on the west side. It was, if you're coming in from the east, you would not have been able to get to it. You would have to go around and come in from the south. When you responded to the, I guess I haven't asked this yet. Did you respond? Yes, I did. Okay. And how did you go into the area where the remains were found? So I came in, actually tried to make entry into the woods several places through here and had to ask one of the patrol officers how they actually got in to get down there because it was so overgrown.
Any kind of easy path or anything like that leading off the side?
No.
Down there?
There was not a path going through there at all. It was heavily overgrown. You had to move branches out of the way and kind of duck through. And then it dropped off pretty quickly, going downhill fairly steeply as well.
And where's that downhill grade?
Just as soon as you get into the tree line.
Who was at the scene when you responded?
We had several patrol officers there. Lieutenant Dickinson was there. Officer Pickert was there, as well as Officer Quinlan and Officer Hollyfield. Those two are no longer employed with us, though.
When you have a scene like that, what happens next?
In a scene like this, when I got there, I saw a badly decomposed body. I made the decision at that point, we were going to obviously rope it off as a crime scene. We were keeping all the officers at a good distance away and keeping any of the public out at that point. Then I made the decision that we were going to call the Bureau of Criminal Investigation in to process that scene for us.
Is there something that's done to prevent people from coming and going from the location?
Yes, there is. We'll put crime scene tape up to have an actual physical barrier so people can't cross.
And then is there any record kept of who's coming and going from that location?
Yes, there is. We'll have an officer that's assigned to keep a crime scene log, and they will note whoever is coming in and also the time they come in and the time they leave.
You indicated that BCI was going to be contacted. Can you explain to the jury what BCI is?
So BCI is the state investigations, basically. They have a crime scene unit that all they do every day is process crime scenes. So they are experts at it.
And so how do you get in touch with BCI if you're asking for them to be dispatched?
We'll contact their dispatch center and notify them of what we have, what the request is, and then they will dispatch their investigators.
Generally speaking, what will BCI's role then be at the scene?
So BCI will usually photograph the scene. They will collect any physical evidence that is there, and they will provide that evidence to us before they leave the scene.
Anybody else that you contact when you come across a dead body?
Yes. In this instance, we contacted the Delaware County Coroner's Office.
And what's the purpose of contacting the Delaware County Coroner's Office?
Last I heard,
Coroner's Office
Ozzy.
is going to be responsible for determining the cause and manner of death.
And how do you contact the coroner's office?
So we contact the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, who will then contact the on-call investigator for the coroner's office.
And did an investigator with the coroner's office come out to the scene that evening?
Yes, he did.
And what was that individual's name?
His name is Charles Carlson.
Were you still on scene when the coroner investigator showed up?
Yes, I was.
And were you still on scene when BCI showed up?
Yes, I was.
And do you recall who from BCI was dispatched?
I believe Chad Holcomb was there and another agent. Her name was Asia. I do not recall her last name.
At some point then, did you leave the scene?
Yes, I did.
Was that crime scene maintained after you left?
Yes, it was.
And were you able to see that on the crime scene log?
Yes, that would all be noted on there.
What was the reason why the crime scene was maintained overnight?
Oh my
BCI was
God.
able to do a lot of their investigation that night that they needed to, but we wanted to have the benefit of daylight the next day for them to see everything around there to make sure nothing was missed.
Were the remains collected from the woods?
Yes, they were.
And what happens to them next in that kind of situation?
So in this specific situation with Delaware County doesn't do their own autopsies. So the remains were sent to the Montgomery County
Please,
Coroner's
Pixie,
Office out in
do that.
Dayton for the autopsy to be completed there.
Aw.
Based on your training experience, if there is a body that needs an autopsy in Delaware County, is that generally where they go?
Yes.
And I guess I should ask you for the record, is the location where these remains were found in Delaware County, state of Ohio?
Yes, it is.
Westerville spans, the city of Westerville, is that all contained in Delaware County?
No, it's not. We split between Franklin and Delaware County.
Were you familiar with the remains going to the Montgomery County Coroner's Office for an autopsy?
Yes, I was.
And were you aware of where the remains went after that?
Yes, I was.
And where's that?
Due to the severe decomposition of the body, Montgomery County Coroner's Office asked that the body be sent to Ohio State University so the anthropologist there could assist with the autopsy.
And were you aware that the remains were in fact transferred to Ohio State?
Yes, I was.
Were you aware of a report being authored by the anthropologist at Ohio State?
Yes, I was.
And do you recall when that report came out?
I don't remember the exact date. I know it took a very, very long time. I believe it was January of 21 before we got that report.
So remains were found in September, as your recollection was January before you had a report from the
Correct.
After that report came back, what were the next steps?
Once that report came back, it involved a lot of archaeological terms. So we wanted to sit down with the author of it and also consult with prosecutor's office and another expert to be able to interpret that information that was presented to us.
And was another expert asked to take a look at everything?
Yes, he was.
And who was that?
Dr. William Smock.
And did the Westerville Police Department provide to Dr. Smock any of the items that he requested to be able to review the investigation and the evidence?
Yes, we did. Anything that he asked for was authorized to be given to him.
And did Dr. Smock author a report in this case?
Yes, he did.
And do you recall when it was that you received Dr. Smock's report?
That would have been, we were into probably May at that point by the time we got his report back.
May of 2021?
Yes, sir.
If I have one moment. I don't have further questions this time. Thank you.
Ross, please.
One moment, Your Honor. Let's have a look.
Geez, Farrell, when was the last time you installed updates?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Did you install a day one version of Windows 7?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good to see you. I've got some questions. I'm sure you can imagine. I might just be using it back and forth. Can we? Thank you. Appreciate that. Just want to. I'll jump around a bit, but I want to really start, Lieutenant, just kind of in terms of individuals in your department. I know you talked about on May 26, 2020, and just to orient the jurors, what day of the week was that?
Well, that would have been a Tuesday.
So Tuesday was the first time that you had seen sort of the case packet, if you will, of Emily Noble gone missing.
That is correct.
And it was your testimony on direct that in advance of seeing the packet, Detective Grubbs had come to you and said, I want that case.
That is correct.
And Detective Grubbs is assigned generally to what type of work?
All of our detectives are assigned to general case. However, Detective Grubbs also specializes in juvenile crimes.
Juvenile crimes is his sort of specialty, right?
In addition to all of our detectives are responsible for any type of case that might come their way.
So I want to talk about just generally, you reviewed, did you not, Detective Grubbs's report or his progress of investigation report in this case? Is that right?
I did.
And in fact, we know that you've reviewed it because your
No, I'm
electronic
Farrell.
signature as the supervisor is on the end of that report.
Correct.
And it's,
Oh, nice.
It's pretty meaty.
Well, welcome if you just came here from Baker.
It is. It appears to be.
Farrell's
18.
having
Does
a
that
few
sound about right?
technical
It
issues.
does.
Because I want to make
Lefty.
sure I understand
She's on a
some
Pentium
things you said
46.
about the searches.
Objection, Your Honor. We have questions.
Thank you. You were asked, showing you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 4. And I should ask, since you reviewed Detective Grubbs's report, I'm assuming, and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming that wherever your name was mentioned as being a participant, if that was inaccurate, you certainly would have let Detective Grubbs know that was inaccurate.
Correct.
All right. And so this is getting to my question now. I thought on direct examination, you were asked if on 525 or 526, you or any other officers searched either this area or this area here. Do you remember being asked that question?
Yeah, this is Farrell.
And I thought you said no. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I was under the understanding that patrol officers had already searched the area along the bike path and along County Line Road.
Okay, so it's your understanding, let me just be clear, your understanding that patrol officers had searched sort of this area here.
On the 25th, that is correct.
Now, let's take this in phases. It's a missing person.
Oh, I am Farrell Housewife.
And
See, it says my name
from
right there,
your
Farrell
Direct
Housewife.
examination, we learned that this isn't the first missing person report under your 20 plus years, right?
Correct.
Children go missing, adults go missing. Sometimes they're found right away, sometimes they aren't.
Objection to compound question.
I'm not sure I've heard all the question yet. Please finish it.
I'll rephrase. Missing persons are something that is kind of part of those happen, right?
They do.
And once you get a missing person report, wouldn't you agree with me that literally, by definition, searches are searching for the person?
Yes, they are.
And usually, because of that, you have a, hopefully best case, you have a picture of the person, right?
Mhm.
Physical description, are they tall, short, height, color, hair, right?
Yes,
Because you and those searching want to know what you're looking for, right?
that is correct.
So searches are looking for a specific someone. And in this case, wouldn't you agree that as of May 25th, 2020, the person being looked for was Emily Noble?
Yes,
You had a description,
we did.
physical description. You had a hair color.
We did.
You even had information that she might always be wearing black.
We did.
You knew her height, weight, so you knew what you were looking for.
Correct.
And so you would agree with me, and just kind of a common sense question, that if I'm searching for a person and I'm only walking on a sidewalk, but there's a wooded area next to me, I might think to look into the wooded area for the missing person.
Yes.
So on the 25th, we know that patrol officers searched this general area, and I've indicated the county line, the bike path there. But from your review of Detective Grubb's reports, I just want to make sure. Tell me if you remember on May 26th at 0944, which I think that would be 9 a.m., 9:44 a.m.,
944, yes.
that you, Detective Peachy and Detective Grubbs, searched the woods along where Matt said he and Emily walked. We did not find anything of evidentiary value. Do you remember that experience?
Yeah, I do remember that we did walk the bike path. I know we started on the bike path at County Line and we worked our way north. I don't recall going to the woods. As I remember, we had the three of us, kind of one in the middle of the bike path and one on each side, looking on both sides of the bike path to see if they saw anything.
But my first part about that question is the date. 9:44 a.m. on the 26th, so Tuesday.
Correct.
Because you asked on direct, I want to make sure we're clear. Do you remember on May 26th at 0944 searching with Detective Peachy and Detective Grubbs? Let's start there.
I do remember that now.
Okay, so that's on the 26th on Tuesday. And tell me, and if I'm wrong, you know, I know you'll tell me, but I'm assuming that when three officer personnel of the caliber of you, Detective Peachy and Detective Grubbs, are searching together, you're not just the three of you walking the sidewalk and just kind of talking.
No.
You're searching for Emily.
Of course.
And that's true of when you walk the county line,
Correct.
right? When you walk county line and you remember that electrical box right there,
Mhm.
you walk that exact area.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you were not looking straight, that you were, even if you're on the sidewalk, you were looking into the woods.
We were.
So that's on the 26th. Now, I want to talk to you about, and you had information, did you not, that Emily liked to forage and walk in that general area.
Yes, we did.
So I want to just go through the searches if we can. And I've got some maps marking this as defendant's exhibit. I believe we're on E, Your Honor. E? Mhm, thank you. And Lieutenant, these maps you will see, and the state has been provided with these maps, have some arrows on it, but tell me, you feel free to tell me or correct as we go through the testimony. You can use that screen. The canine search on 5/26, and you wrote a report in this case?
I did.
And in your report, fair to say, you detail these canine searches.
I did.
And canines are, as part of your experience in law enforcement, are a tool that can be used to locate bodies.
Yes,
There's certain dogs that can follow scent,
correct.
and there's certain dogs that are specifically trained to locate things that are dead,
Yes.
and those are called cadaver dogs.
I'm gonna put this up
And
to
then you were talking
1.5.
during your direct examination about
Let me know if
search
that's way
dogs,
too
right?
fast though.
Bloodhounds, correct.
Bloodhounds.
Yes,
And bloodhounds, if I can use another lay word, scent dogs.
correct.
So we've got the scent dogs that are tracking for an individual based on scent, and then we've also got the cadaver dogs.
Correct.
Just want to make sure that the jury understands there are different types of dogs trying to
What?
sense different things.
Yes,
And based on your
Oh.
experience as a law enforcement officer, fair to say that canine dogs are trained specifically for either as a bloodhound or as a cadaver.
correct.
And let's talk about the bloodhound dogs. Because they're actually trying to track a scent, isn't it true that as an officer or law enforcement generally gather items that may belong to the person in which they're trying to track their scent?
Yes, we will.
So essentially you're giving the scent to the dog, so the dog learns this is the scent I'm supposed to track.
Correct.
And that's part of the process with a bloodhound, is it not?
Yes, it is.
So, one moment. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Is that too fast, Wolfram?
So the search of May 26th. Let's talk about that with respect to, you mentioned the Claremont County Sheriff's Office. Those were bloodhounds that came to the scene on May 26th. Is that correct?
Yeah, Dave.
Doesn't matter. Correct. It was Crawford County. I know it was written in a report someplace. It was Claremont County, but that was mistaken.
Okay, I'm
But-
only as good as.
I understand. But yes, it was a bloodhound. It was running from Crawford County.
So it's a bloodhound. And the bloodhound comes to the scene at 11:24. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does.
And you, at 11, you're there, Peachy's there, Detective Grubbs is there, right?
Correct.
Peachy?
And the dog, as part of the protocol, is given the scent, if you will, that they are asked to track.
Yes, they are.
And you've used bloodhounds before, certainly during the course of your work as a law enforcement
Yes,
person.
I have.
Sometimes,
Be right back.
fair to say, bloodhounds
Oh,
can
Carol's here.
actually track a
Wait.
scent.
Yeah, I
Correct.
don't know if you can hear me or not. I'm on my phone until my computer.
Oh,
is being
okay.
Psycho.
At
There you go.
46 Abbey Cross.
That is correct.
I should have done that earlier.
Based on, and you
No worries.
in detail where the dog went in your report, but does this look, based on your
No, I
recollection
remember
now,
Sal-
the
or
dog
Wolfram.
traveled
That
in
was a
this
good movie.
direction on Abbey Cross?
Between the two bloodhounds, I can't remember which one went all the way to the end of Abbey Cross and which one came up in between the two condos there.
Hey, Rabbit.
So, and
Hi,
that
Rabbit.
actually takes your next one, because there was actually two bloodhounds,
There were.
and each of them is given the scent that they are being asked to track,
That is
right?
correct.
And tell the jurors how the dog handler actually, does the dog handler lead the dogs, or do the dogs lead the dog handler?
The dogs lead the dog handler.
They're in charge.
Yes, they are.
So you're not sure if one dog goes this direction or through here, but would you agree with me that they both end up in this back area here?
Yes, they did.
And then, do they not? They end right here where this dot is.
They did.
And that dot right there, Lieutenant, this is actually a house, is it not?
It is.
And I know that you were there with the dogs, but fair to say that this is, you can walk this area right here, can you not?
Yes, you can.
And in fact, this is a kind of some mowed grass in this field right here.
Yes.
And as you pop out here, let me clear it so viewers can see it. This is actually a driveway, is it not?
It is.
Going, sorry, not so much. Going straight to State Street.
Yes, it is.
And the dogs stop right here at the driveway.
Correct.
Hi, Food Fairy.
And those are the bloodhounds. I'm going to go sticking with the bloodhounds. And we can talk about them being different, but I just kind of, for the jurors, want to stick to the same type of dog. It might be easier. There was a additional search. I'm sorry. F, defendants marking what's defendant's exhibit F, Your Honor. Again, these maps were provided to the state. F, and let me move this up. Why does this not get real close? That was a good assist from the state there. There was on June 7th, there was another search by bloodhounds, was there not?
Yes, there was.
So again, 2 dogs on the 7th,
No, I believe there was just one on the 7th.
2 dogs on the 26th of May and just 1 dog on the 7th.
One dog on May 26th was the bloodhound. 1 dog on the 27th, which was human remains detection dog.
Okay, I'm just trying to stick to bloodhounds. I'm not yet to the cadaver dogs.
Gotcha.
Okay, so bloodhounds, we've got May 26th was this map that we just went over, Defendant's Exhibit E.
You, Jamie.
Correct.
Okay, and you're not sure if one
Hi,
of
Jamie.
the dogs went this way, they both go in this direction here.
Correct.
Now, sticking with bloodhounds, so dogs that are following or trying to track Emily Noble's scent.
Oh, nice to see you.
I want to go
Food
now
fairy.
to June 7th.
What are you cooking?
According to your testimony, now it's just 1 bloodhound, right?
Correct.
And this bloodhound is asked to do the same thing as track Emily Noble's scent. And would you agree with me that this is the route they go this way down Abbey Cross?
They
The
do.
dog does. And then this way up here.
That's correct.
And then the dogs stop here.
I believe they came to the through this wooded area and stopped at this driveway as well.
So between May 26th of 2020 and June 7th of 2020, the dogs tracking Emily's scent essentially end in the same place.
Correct.
Different dogs.
Correct.
And sometimes I ask questions that are obvious, but this one will be one of them. The park where Emily, or the wooded area where Emily is found, is over here.
That is correct.
Now, I want to talk about the cadaver dogs. The first cadaver dog that goes to 46 Abbey Cross is on May 27, 2020.
Correct.
Yes, distant.
A cadaver dog, and it is specifically meant to find, detect, alert on anything essentially that is dead.
Correct.
And based on your training and experience, I assume that you also know that if a cadaver dog were to be at a vehicle, let's just say hypothetically, and a vehicle had a corpse in it at one time, right? The cadaver dog can still alert on the car without the corpse being in the car.
That's absolutely correct.
Because the corpse, if you will, could leave tissues or other things that the cadaver dog will be able to detect.
Correct.
Similarly, you know, if a corpse is on a table and walks away, the dog might even hit or alert on that table.
That is correct.
Or to extend that kind of hypothetical, if a corpse were to have brushed against trees or shrubs or that kind of thing, perhaps a cadaver dog could also alert on a tree or shrub, something like that.
Yes.
So on May 27th, Danielle Fate from Cleveland is brought down with the cadaver dogs. And there is 2 dogs that Danielle brings.
I believe she did bring 2. I only remember her having 1 out using 1 dog.
I want to talk about the areas where Danielle took the cadaver dog or dogs. The interior of the residence.
Correct.
And when Danielle is in the interior of the residence, she has unfettered access in that house, did she not?
She did.
There was no one that was saying you can't go here or can't go here.
Correct.
In fact, you made the call up to Cleveland to bring down the dog because her dogs were good.
I was honestly at that point the only cadaver dog that I could get hold of.
Okay? She comes down from Cleveland and she's in the house, right?
Correct.
And there's no one obstructing the way, and the dogs search the entire residence.
Correct.
And you're aware that there's an attic in the residence?
Yes.
And the dog searched the attic.
I don't recall the dog going up to the attic.
But you recall that there was an attic.
I do.
And nothing.
No, there were no alerts there.
And based on your experience, if a cadaver dog, like a bloodhound, well, if a cadaver dog, if there's a hit, the dog actually physically reacts, does it not?
Yes. I've seen different dogs trained different ways. Some were called a passive alert, where they'll usually just sit, or sometimes an aggressive alert, which they've gone away from, where they'd scratch cars. But you're right, some sort of alert.
And the trainer, the dog trainer, knows exactly the alert of their dog and is looking for that, to whether or not the dog does that.
Correct.
And then, in addition to the interior of the residence, there were 2 vehicles at the house. There was the Subaru and the Altima.
Correct.
And the dog or dogs also completely checked both vehicles.
They did.
There were no hits.
There were none.
And then Danielle took the dogs along, showing you what's again been marked as Defense Exhibit D. She took the dogs along the bike path, right?
Correct.
And then tell the jurors north, east, south, and west here, so it's oriented.
So this would be north.
Never eat soggy Wheaties.
I'm sorry.
Never eat soggy Wheaties. So this
Correct.
so this is east, and so this is west over here, right?
Correct.
Okay, and I say that because you in your report, you give directions as to where every person went. So I want to be clear. And then Danielle takes the dogs in the westward direction.
Kind of.
Does she not?
She searched this whole area. I believe we started from the west and headed east and then north along the bike path, but essentially that whole area was searched.
And again, in terms of the dog or the dogs, nothing.
Nothing.
And you would agree with me that cadaver dogs aren't just sort of slowly walking with their head down and not actually working the area, right?
No, they're usually walking at the end of their leash and trying to get as much scent as they can.
It was a sunny day.
I believe it was.
And you remember, I'm assuming that the Monday Memorial Day was a warm sunny day as well.
Yes.
And then 2 days later, you use a cadaver dog again to go to a different area by Polaris. Do you remember that?
I do.
And I only mention it because the dogs were a tool that you and your department were using in your sincere searching effort to find out.
Correct.
And then you talked about on June 7th, employing the Texas EquiSearch company. What do you call them?
This organization. June 7th would have been their second search with us.
Okay. And they, of course, they searched a number of areas as you testified to on your direct.
For
Correct.
science.
In and around Westerville.
Correct.
And I just want to say, in case any of the jurors are wondering, obviously, the first bloodhound search was on the 26th of May.
That is correct.
And the second bloodhound search, so the scent search, was on the 7th. Is that right?
That's correct.
At no point in time did any of the dog handlers.
We may raw dog you.
As we know from the maps that I showed you, that it's not as if you have to be
I mean,
doing a bloodhound search within an hour. Is that right?
Give you his
That's
baby
correct.
batter.
And I know I'm showing the witness what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit E and Defendant's Exhibit F. Again, just generally separate dates by a week plus, and the dogs generally went in the same direction with respect to scent
Correct.
of Emily. And isn't it true, and tell me if I misremember, that the way you were giving them the scent of Emily was actually from the miniskirt that she was seen wearing on her birthday?
On June 7th, I know we used a black
Happy
miniskirt. I don't know if
birthday.
it was the one from her birthday or not.
And on the 26th, you had clothing in Emily's closet and other things that
Correct.
you knew had belonged at one time to Emily Noble.
Correct.
I want to go back through, marking this as Defense Exhibit. One second. G.
hi,
You,
Shelly.
tell me, were you the one, or were you aware of all sort of press releases or news releases that were made?
I was aware of the press releases and news releases, yes.
Show me what's marked as Defendant's Exhibit G. Lieutenant, do you recognize this?
I do.
And this is entitled, is it not, for immediate release?
It is.
Will you tell the jurors, and I want to make sure I have, tell the jurors what's the purpose of a document like this?
This is to notify the media of any significant event we have, obviously in this case, a missing person, so they can get that out to as many people as quickly as possible.
And the date of that immediate release is what?
May 26th, 2020.
And on the second sentence of the immediate release, it says, does it not, and this is issued by Westerville Police Department,
It is.
it says Emily Noble, 52, was last seen around 9 a.m. on Monday, May 25th.
Correct.
And Monday, May 25th, you recall that was Memorial Day.
That's
Babu is
The same
3.
day at around
and Junior
5:40
is
that
2.
Matt Moore called 911.
correct.
Does this look like a fair and accurate copy of that immediate release?
So yeah, they're 4 days, less than 361 days apart.
Going back to the searches, because I
Or-
around a bit. Ultimately, Emily's remains were found on September 16th.
No, 1 year and 4 days
Correct.
apart.
You're aware that they were found by non-law enforcement personnel.
So
They were
unfortunate.
out doing foot searches for Emily.
Correct.
And they were walking, were they not, along Defendant's Exhibit D? There was 3 women walking together, correct?
Correct.
Walking along the same line right here.
Yes.
And it is when one of them actually locates Emily where she is ultimately found.
Correct.
Tell me, because I know you were at the scene, how, and the jurors were there. How many feet would you say Emily's remains were from that side?
Maybe 100 feet.
All the
in
way.
from the
No,
wood line,
no.
100 feet from the county line?
from the tree line north.
From the
You have to
tree line.
bring me the spring back.
Your department measure it, you know?
I don't know that it was measured.
Babu likes to play
County line,
fetch,
you agree with me that that is a heavily
and he'll get the
Yes.
spring and
You
bring
would
it
agree with
back.
me that like right here, there's
But
nowhere
then dropped it,
legally
like,
where
2
I can
feet
pull
away
over
from
my
me, so I have to
car,
go and get
perhaps,
it.
and park it there.
That is correct.
And
You're
aware,
well
'cause I
trained.
trust you are familiar with the area that this resident in
He
this
brings
house
it
right
back,
here
though,
was home on
just not all the
Memorial
way.
Day weekend, intermittent.
Yeah.
I don't know whether
You're
she's on
well
that.
trained.
And that's part of the investigation that you're not aware of.
Correct.
And if you could orient the jurors, fair to say that there's an electrical box kind of somewhere in that general vicinity. If you're facing the wooded area, it's left of where Emily's remains were found.
That is correct.
Do you know how often that electrical box was serviced?
No, I do not.
Is that something your department checked?
I'm not aware of that being checked.
Just to see if that box was serviced at any point in time that summer?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Based on your training and experience, were there not some other searches done based on either vulture activity or smells that individuals called and reported?
That is correct.
And you know from your training and experience that dying, decaying bodies can emanate a smell.
Yes, it is.
And because of that, it's kind of let me take it into a different analogy.
From your
It's like you might
training.
see vultures in a road with what we call roadkill, right? And the vultures can arrive, and sometimes we'll drive by that with our windows down, and we'll
Nice
smell
day.
that smell.
Correct.
And it's a smell that stands out.
It does.
And it was warm Memorial Day weekend. It's fair to say it was about 80 degrees, if you remember.
I don't remember, but that seems normal.
And May, June, July, August, obvious question, but those are summer months.
Correct.
You were part of the neighbors or the other individuals that lived on Abbey Cross Road. Law enforcement made efforts to interview those individuals as well,
Yes,
correct?
we did.
They walked down, knocked.
I like the phone
interviewed
controls
individuals
better.
if They knew or heard of anything.
Correct.
The what?
You were part of those efforts as well.
Yes, I was.
The like to pick up chats. It's easier on a phone.
You talked
Oh, really?
about expert reports.
Is your computer still updating?
You mentioned on your direct that
No, it's
Your office
updated.
received
It
the
just
report,
I don't know what's going on. It won't open.
Dr. Agnew in January of 2000.
I restarted it again.
Yes, it does.
And does it sound right that in January of 2021, the same month that you had received the report from the Montgomery?
Have you
County
tried
Court?
turning it on and off again?
And so the jury knows the Montgomery
kidding.
County Court-
I unplugged it and plugged it back in.
Okay.
They are the entity that actually does the autopsies for Dali.
What is it doing now?
And so the remains were sent to Montgomery County. It is only Montgomery County.
I'm making it take a nap for a second.
Because I thought I heard you say that the remains were taken to OSU for them to do
Okay.
an autopsy as well.
I put it in timeout until it can behave.
Cleaning the remains and looking at any injuries that may have occurred to those remains.
Fair enough. And I wanted to just make sure that we're clarified. The autopsy is done by the coroner's office.
Correct.
And then the remains were sent by your office in the state to OSU for additional testing.
Correct.
Is that a fair way to say it?
Yes, it is.
And where are the remains now?
I believe they are still with Ohio State.
Do you know where?
I do not.
You also in January of 2021 received a report, and I just want to understand all the reports that were received.
I don't know
from
what the hell
Dr.
her hair
Bolte.
is.
Do you remember that name?
I
Or
do.
maybe?
And Dr. Bolte also works
no.
at the Ohio State University.
Yes,
Were you present when he conducted the testing on the branch?
I was.
It could be lighting
As
too.
part of the state's
Oh.
Hi, Lefty.
engagement with the Ohio State University in this case, you
Hi.
came to work with John Bolte.
Yes, I was present.
Bolte.
Bolte.
Yes, Bolte. You're correct.
John Bolton?
Bolte. And you
Bolte.
asked him, your department asked him to go out and conduct some testing to see if the branch where Emily was found,
Oh, this is their expert.
Correct.
and there was an initial visit to the scene, was there not?
There was.
Were you there on the initial visit?
Yes, I was.
And then he went out for a second visit.
Whoa,
where he
dude,
actually
man
conducted
spreading.
tests.
That is correct.
And he being
Whoa.
Bolte is in biomechanics.
No. He knows better,
The
Dave.
first test that you witnessed was
My
it not
God.
was essentially with a crate, and he incrementally added weight to the crate.
That is correct.
And he used a USB cord,
He did.
and he placed the USB cord in
Seriously,
the
you see
notches,
that
which
sheriff
can
in the
still
back?
see in the branch today.
Correct.
He placed it there. He added
Oh
the
my
weight. and of
God,
course,
dude,
you,
close your
you
legs.
gave the doctor the information with respect to Emily's weight. so he
Christ's
knew
sake.
how much
Like,
weight needed to be
oh,
added.
We did.
seriously,
And that
long
first
crime
test is
or
called
court
status
TV.
I believe so.
And if you recall, what
They, like,
that test
zoomed in on
was-
it.
Zoom in.
And now they're zooming
They did take video. of the photographs, I
sensually.
believe.
And the branch, the same branch where she's found where the notches were, the branch held
Oh, Diane,
making
those are
incremental
poor
weights being added up to 98 pounds.
Yes,
hand
it did.
movements
Then
there.
after that test,
Oh, no,
there was
no.
a second test where a crash
Hands
test
away.
dummy was used. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
And a crash test dummy where the legs were removed to really sort of mimic the way that Emily's.
I really wish I had control right now.
I don't
Wait,
understand
maybe I
with the
do.
legs being removed. Can you rephrase?
The branch is 6 feet 3 inches from the ground. Do you remember that measurement?
I do.
And I don't know why I was here. I'm not that tall. So the branch is 6 feet and 3 inches from the ground. When the doctor was there doing the testing, a crash test dummy was used, correct?
That is correct.
USB cord, same thing with the notches over the branch where they already were pre-existing. And a dynamic test was done
That is correct.
to see if the crash test dummy that weighed 98 pounds, if just dropped, could the branch
Oh
sustain
my
that?
God, Diane.
Correct.
That was a very unfortunate timing there. Hold on one sec. Let me get this in
Oh, so
HD.
you-
Want it full
Oh,
720p.
Lord.
Okay. Oh.
When the doctor was there doing the testing, a crash test dummy was used, correct?
That is
Oh
correct.
my
USB
God.
cord, same thing with the notches over the branch where they already were pre-existing.
Oh my
And
God.
She's a
a
giver.
dynamic test was done
That is correct.
to see if the crash test dummy that weighed
Oh, no.
98 pounds,
No,
if just
girl.
dropped, could the branch sustain that?
Correct.
And that test was done, and the branch held the weight.
Yes, it did.
It did. Dr. Bolte issue a report.
Yes, he did.
Sweet.
And did
Sweetheart.
you receive that report?
Yes, we did.
Tell me, in terms of another expert, was it you or was it Detective Grubbs that reached out to the University of Tennessee, or what might be called the Body Farm, to see if you could enlist there?
That was Detective Grubbs.
So you
The
were-
body farm.
And then you talked about Dr. Smock, an engagement with Dr. Smock. Have you worked with Dr. Smock before?
No, we have not.
You at Westerville Police is not working.
No, we have not.
And his report was issued in May of 2020.
Oh, greedy bloke. You
Correct.
mean the judge in the purse house trial?
Fair to say that he's the last of the expert reports that were received by Westerville or the state of Ohio in this
Yes, it
case.
was.
And up until the issuance of his report, there was no pending indictment against Matt Moore.
No, there was not.
So Emily's missing on May 25th. She's found in September
Oh,
16th
great.
of 20.
Court TV's now
Dr.
playing hard to
Smock's
get with the
report,
bailiff.
is issued in May of 2021. And
They're
when
shy and
is
don't wanna
Matt
show
Moore
him.
charged with the murder of Emily Noble?
I don't remember the exact date. I believe it was late May.
Late May,
I believe so.
right after Dr. Smock's report.
Yes.
I'm gonna go just a few other questions, Your Honor, and then I'll be done. You mentioned
Oh
about
God, now the other bailiff's doing it too.
May 24th, and you
He
have
hopes he gets some
information
action
that
from the
Emily and
National.
Matt went to, is it Buchtel, Ohio?
Correct.
Buchtel, Ohio that morning. Just generally, tell the jurors if you know how
No,
far
it is
Buchtel, Ohio
not.
from Westerville,
I believe it's about an hour and a half southeast of Columbus.
each way.
Correct.
And you have information that Emily and Matt went to Buchtel, Ohio on May 24, 2022, which would have been her actual birthday.
Correct.
And through the course of your investigation, being lieutenant in the department, that's true, is it not, that they went to Buchtel that morning?
Yes, it is.
An hour and a half each way, so total travel time, even if you just went to Buchtel and came right back, is 3 hours.
Yes, it is.
One moment. Your Honor.
It's Buchtel.
Nothing further.
Nothing drives me crazier in this trial than how they say Buchtel.
Hey, Veal. Seriously, like, what are the requirements to be a bailiff? Like, strong work ethic, must be willing to work long hours, must man spread in court on camera. Good Lord, dude.
You would.
The people that Mathew was speaking of, will we speak to those people or listen to them? So I just need to know if I need to direct my question to him or those people directed to me.
If you have a question that you would like to ask this officer, feel free to write it down. And if he can answer the
Should
question.
be getting
if
my-
he can't,
Don't worry,
Evidence
Dave.
soon.
He's leaving soon.
I thought you wanted a restroom break. You want a restroom break?
I have a big
All right.
prostate,
Let's
sir.
take 10.
My
Let's
prostate's the
take 10.
size of a lemon, Your Honor.
Thanks for sharing that with us, Sal.
I was saying, like pretending the witness said that. I have to pee. Well, we know these bailiffs have 2 guns, apparently.
So that just means that any cases that come through, whether it be an auto theft, an assault, burglary, they can handle all of those types of things.
Are you familiar with, for example, Columbus Police Department?
I am.
And how, if at all, does the Columbus Detective Divisions differ from what Westerville has?
So the Columbus Police Department is kind of more like what you'd see on TV. Each division of the detective bureaus are broken down between like auto crime, thefts, burglaries, homicide, things like that. We don't have that luxury. We just don't have enough detectives. So they're cross-trained to
Sir.
do everything. And then they have certain specialties that they'll handle as well.
Sir,
So,
did you enjoy the
there's
view
a
from a few minutes
homicide
ago?
Division of the Westerville Police Department where this case would have been assigned.
No, there's not.
We went to a general division detective, just like any other offenses being investigated by the detective bureau.
That is correct.
with regard to the test on the branch, you were present when that test was conducted?
Yes, I was.
Do you recall who else was present at the time?
Detective Grubbs was there. Dr. Bolte was there, as well as another doctor that was there that I don't recall. his
I
name.
need to DM you, Veal.
And was the purpose of the test to see if the branch would hold that weight?
Yes, it was.
There's a video, I think Baker played it, of this guy representing himself screaming the entire time at the jury. Like they just have like opening and some cross. But like he doesn't stand near a mic and the audio is horrible. But if like you could balance it out, I don't know, it's really bad. But it would be amazing if you could, Veal.
The cord, okay. Was there a mannequin that was used
Yes,
at
there
one
was.
point in the test?
Yes, there was.
Was the USB
Yeah,
cord
Veal.
tied in a knot or just tucked under
Yeah.
around the neck of that mannequin?
I don't recall.
That's
Yeah, his
the
hair is there at the nose.
To your
one.
knowledge, any effort made to make that mannequin
The evidence will show.
the same location of a knot or no knot as Emily?
It just would have been so much better if the
I
audio
don't
was
believe that
there.
they had access to the actual knot to be able to duplicate it.
So you didn't share with Dr. Bolte photographs of the scene of exactly how Emily's body was positioned?
I don't know if Detective Grubbs did or not. I do not know if that was done.
Again, the primary purpose of that was to see if the branch would hold the weight, not to recreate exactly what the scene looked like.
That is correct.
Lieutenant, I want to show you again. Defendant's Exhibit D. If I refer to this as the Eastern Woods and the Western Woods, we understand what we're talking about?
I do, yes.
So Eastern Woods, the area from the bike path, Western Woods, the area where Emily's remains are found.
Okay.
Were you, Detective Grubbs and Detective Peachy, did you go into the western area of those woods in your initial search of the area when you went out there?
No, we did not.
Were you ever in those western woods prior to Emily's remains being found?
No, we were not.
When you arrived on scene, when the remains were found, were you able to see those remains from the sidewalk?
No, I was not.
Can you describe for the jury what steps had to be taken for you to see where the remains were located?
Yes. Again, like I said, that area was very overgrown. You had to move branches out of the way and kind of duck under some to get even into the woods. And then there was that downgrade, the dip down into the woods. I'm guessing maybe 30 feet below grade from where County Line Road is to even get to where Emily was located.
And even as you walked into the woods, were you immediately able to see where Emily's remains were?
No, not at all.
The other searches that were conducted by the Westerville Police Department, to your knowledge, was there ever an officer from Westerville who was in those western woods prior to the remains being found?
No, there was not.
And how do you feel about that?
Oh.
I'm sorry, what was that question again?
How does he feel about that?
I'll sustain that.
How did that happen?
I believe at the beginning there were some miscommunications about people saying they searched that area when they just searched the very wood line. And quite honestly, I put a lot of faith in that cadaver dog that walked that wood line. The dog walked up to that area. The handler said there was no alert there, and I believe that.
Was that cadaver dog, as you were standing there, did that cadaver dog ever go into the woods?
No, it just went up to the woods.
And so, do cadaver dogs ever make mistakes?
I'm sure.
I think we need a foundation first about his
Because
knowledge.
that's all sorts of questions about cadaver dogs on cross-examination.
Well, it may be in the record that's the case.
Do you have other experience with cadaver dogs?
This was the first time we had utilized them.
Based on your training experience and the shared experience of other law enforcement agencies, are you aware of cadaver dogs missing things?
Yes, I am.
Are cadaver dogs infallible?
No, they're not. In fact, I'd say generally any dog is fallible at some point.
And can cadaver dogs make mistakes just like humans?
I think we've had the answer.
I have no further questions.
Reed Ross?
Yes, thank you. Do you remember being at the press conference, September 22nd of 2021?
I do.
Emily's remains had been found on the 16th. Fair to say that was about an 8-minute press conference, you and the chief.
Objection, Your Honor.
It's right direct as to who searched that area, Your Honor. Just want to lay some foundation.
Well, let's get the question then.
Okay. Do you remember, since you were at the press conference, that it was told to the community in the press conference, and I quote, tell me if you remember, we searched, law enforcement area searched that area 3 times, including once with a cadaver dog.
I don't remember saying that at all.
You don't remember, do you remember being at the press conference when the chief said that?
I don't remember if he said that or not.
Your Honor, may I have a moment? Would it be all right to see the press conference?
Yes, it would.
One moment.
Oh,
I need a
okay.
moment.
He's not the one who made a statement, and he's been asked your calls. I'm not sure what matters.
Well, we'll find out.
Also,
I haven't seen the press release yet.
here, sir.
You're about to.
I'm gonna slow it down a little bit.
Like me to step aside and show him or play it for him and then call him back up. Tell me how you want me to do it. I have it marked.
How would you like me to
I don't have
refresh
a
him?
Preference.
Okay.
He just needs to have the opportunity to review it on his own to see if it refreshes his recollection.
Dali, you want to take it?
Yeah.
Think Matt can set me up with her? There's no ring. Oh, is that no? There's no ring on her finger.
It's okay, Mike.
Oh my.
Hey, help her
He
brother out.
slept.
We have it marked. Actually, it shouldn't take long.
Farrell, can you give me your contact info?
If you have any questions that are already in your mind, feel free to start writing them out. I know there may be some more, but just give you a head start.
He really got lucky with the jury. I mean, they were so attentive, writing notes,
Right.
listening, and like within 20 minutes, they all thought he was not guilty.
Yeah, he lucked out.
Yeah.
Lieutenant, did you have an opportunity to listen to that?
There you go.
Yes, it is.
There you go, Sal.
That press conference will be present for
I need to
that.
focus on
And,
Olivia
now
right
you
now.
had a chance, because that refresh
She's
your
closer to
recollection
me.
what was said
Who's-
about that
who's
area
that?
being searched 3 times.
Michael Turney's lawyer?
Including ones.
Oh,
And
Malanta.
what's that said?
Yeah, the one that was
Thank you. Nothing further.
cute lawyer or OMG cute lawyer or something like that on my notes when I went to court. Or no, lawyer is a cutie. I think it was.
Oh, okay. I remember now.
Yeah. I'm telling you, going to court is really the great place to pick up women.
Well, at least you didn't pick the family reunion.
I only briefly entertained the idea of the possibly homeless woman. All we know is she is a panhandler, but she was very cute.
Now it's okay.
What? Sometimes I can't be a decent human being and help somebody out in their time of need? Ooh, that's a good idea, Veal. They have specific courts for that, right?
They
Like
do.
specific judges?
We could start streaming them.
Ooh. Now that is an idea and a half.
Right? Little divorce
Okay.
court.
That could be a rebound. And then, okay, so I go up to the woman there, like her husband cheated on her and she wants a divorce. Well, now she's going to want somebody to make him jealous.
There you go.
And then what better way? Like they're both in court and good, Mads, okay, we're brainstorming this. We're brainstorming this.
There you go. Mormon divorce
Mhm.
court.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about, the whole Provo push. So, I mean, wait, do divorced Mormons, single divorced Mormons not have sex?
I don't know the rules on that. Why don't you write to Jody and ask her?
I will. Yeah. Because all you have to do is you present yourself as somebody, and they're both there. So like you kind of make a move on her and she wants to make her ex-husband jealous. She's going to be all over you. Yeah, I can see that working out. And I probably wouldn't have to wait for the third date. Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, let's not do Mormon. Catholic Church is good. Yeah. Yeah,
Catholic's not any better.
No, God, the last girl, or no, like 10 years ago when I dated her, but she was Catholic and she was into BDSM and it was a wild ride. But she was a virgin.
Are they still fighting over this press release?
I think so.
Okay.
I was just brainstorming.
Brainstorming. How to pick up women at divorce court.
I mean, if they want to get back at their ex who cheated on them, no, Baker, she wasn't from Canada. She was from Mesa, which isn't much better.
There you go. Pixie's Catholic.
Well, I mean, do butt plugs count distant? I'm just saying. That was a weird first date. Lefty. Hey, I'm giving you great dating tips.
Detective, I have a few questions for you, and they're going to be kind of bouncing around. So I'll just kind of give you that warning up front. I'll just ask them in the order that I have them here. In the search of the home, was the washer and dryer checked, laundry or hamper by the dogs?
The area around them was searched, but I don't know that they specifically went into the washer and dryer.
That's kind of a weird question.
During your testimony, you indicated the bloodhounds went to a house on the west side of that area there.
Not
Did you,
really.
or anyone, to your knowledge, in the investigation, talk to the people at the house on State Street?
Yes, we did. And that driveway is actually a shared driveway between two different residences. And I know Detective Grubbs and Detective Peachy did go out and make contact with them.
All right. And as a result of the investigation, did you receive any information about whether any of those folks had contact with Emily Noble or Matt Moore at the pertinent times involved in the investigation?
No, we did not.
And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about dogs. Are you familiar with the capabilities and techniques of the dogs, what they can do, what they can't do?
On a very basic knowledge, yes.
Well, then I'll ask you if you know the answer to this question. I don't want you to guess or anything. If a person is carried or otherwise,
you're not,
walking,
Dave.
will a bloodhound be able to pick up their scent?
Yes, they would still be able to pick up that scent.
Okay, kind of moving around again. Based again on knowledge of cadaver dogs, how soon after a person dies does a cadaver dog first have the opportunity to pick up the scent?
I was told that the decomposition starts immediately after death, so they would be able to pick up on that immediately.
I don't understand why they're allowing.
During the course of the investigation, were there any witnesses
him to
or
answer
information on where
these.
Emily walked the night of the 24th?
Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar with any information as far as where she walked on that night.
At your initial entry into the scene where Emily was discovered, was there a stool or any items found with the remains? The question is, in light of the idea, was there anything that would lift her body up to the branch?
No.
Found there?
No, there was not.
There was testimony that an angel, a little statue, was found in the woods there. Was that tested in any way to see if there was any connection with Matt or Emily?
No, it was not. At that time, in
That's
the proximity where it
true.
was, we didn't feel it was related to this case.
Were the bloodhounds brought to search for Emily on the bike path?
So the bloodhounds were brought to the last known location where we knew Emily was.
Can you tell?
When you bring a bloodhound in, you can't really just go search certain areas. You have to have a starting point where you know that person was to be able to go from there.
Okay, switching gears again. Had a suspect been identified in the report when the report was given or assigned to Detective Grubbs?
No, there was no suspect at that point. We didn't even know what we were dealing with at that point. Whether she walked away voluntarily, a kidnapping, a murder, we had no idea at that point.
And did Detective Grubbs follow the usual procedures in his approaching you and expressing his interest in handling the case?
Yes, he did. That's something that happens quite a bit. Detectives will notice something along there, especially whether it be an arson or a financial crime. If they see those, they'll come and ask to have those assigned to them.
This question is directed to you. On September 16, when you entered into the woods to first investigate and you were involved, did you get any cuts or scratches on your hands or arms going through the brush?
No, I did not.
Did the Westerville police ever update the missing person report to reflect a sooner, quote unquote, last seen date?
Yes, we did. That initial press release was the information that we had at the time that was initially reported that she was seen the morning of the 25th. We later learned that that was recanted and we changed it to the 24th.
Okay, I have two questions that are similar in nature.
The link is
You
also
said
in the
dogs were taken around the
description,
woods, but is there a reason
as well as
that the dogs
his
Yeah.
were not sent
Yeah,
or used into the
Instagram.
woods themselves?
Please
You know.
pin it.
The dog handler, well, I was with the dog handlers when they
Or,
were
um,
they just
post
indicated
as
there
much
was
as you
consent
want.
from there. I
Yeah.
wish we'd done it. Absolutely, I do.
But yeah, it's in the description.
Was the attic ever searched, the attic at the home of Mr. Moore and Ms. Noble, was the attic ever searched by law enforcement?
Yes, it was, and nothing was located.
Again, taking you to the scene when you first were there, did it look like the brush had been moved or disturbed? Were there footprints where the remains were found?
So when you walk through there, it's obviously very secluded and very overgrown. But when you got to where we located Emily's body, it was a little clearing, maybe 3 by 4 feet, something along those lines. But no, we didn't locate any footprints.
Thank you, Eris.
And again, going back to your knowledge of the cadaver dogs, if you know, when a dog is on the scent, so to speak, are you familiar with, and the question is posed in the range of the dog, the capability.
Is he asking if the dog's in heat?
Sense things to take it in a direction, or
Well,
you know, what kind of degree or range does it have? In that?
I don't know the answer to that. I've seen the dogs that work back and forth to see if they get a scent, but as far as how far away they can smell, that's outside of my scope.
I don't know how.
Fair enough.
When I'm in heat, I don't
Last
know if they
question.
can smell it.
There was testimony that Emily, or that the branch was 6 foot 3 inches off the ground. Do you know how tall Emily was?
I don't know specifically. I know around. I would be guessing. I'm sorry, I do not.
That's fine. Understood. Understood. All right, thank you. Does that raise any questions for the state? Defense.
Just one. As a follow-up to the question about releasing the dogs lead the handler. Is that right?
That is correct.
And so the handler, as you observed, fair to say, it lets the dogs lead the way.
That's correct.
And so if the dogs had gone into the woods, right, or wherever they had gone, the handler follows the dogs.
That's correct.
Nothing for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Make all your next witness.
State call Detective Leckie.
oh, let me.
Thank you. Let me look.
Sir, can you state your name, spell your last name for the record, please?
David Leckie, Leighty.
No, it works for me.
You'd agree with me, it sounds a little different than how you spell it?
It is.
I'll try my best to remember it, but it's only taken me a couple of years to figure it out, right? Where are you currently employed?
I'm employed with the City of Westerville Division of Police.
And what do you do for the City of Westerville Division of Police?
I'm assigned to the investigation unit as a detective.
Okay, do you have a job title?
Just general detective. I do other things as well.
And what types of job duties do you have as a general detective?
Investigate crimes. Other job duties include mobile forensics on phones.
Okay. And do you sort of specialize in mobile forensics with phones?
the
For
division,
some
yes.
reason, it does that.
What's,
It'll
there's-
work
Step back
once
first.
one
What type
time when you
of,
click it, and it won't work the
training
next
experience do you have
time.
to
I don't know
detect
why.
I attended the basic police officer academy. Graduated from that. Then I also studied criminal
It did
justice
that for me
and
once, but the next time it
still working
works.
on my degree right now.
Right.
And also taken numerous classes over 21 plus years in law enforcement.
And that was going to be my next question is, other than being a detective, you have previous law enforcement experience?
I do.
And can you give me an idea of how long you've been in law enforcement and what positions you've held?
Roughly over 20 years. I started out as a reserve deputy with the Wayne County Sheriff's Department up in Worcester. Moved to a full-time position with the Doylestown Police Department.
No worries.
Left that position as a
One.
canine handler and a sergeant. And when I came to Westerville in 2007, I was a patrol officer. And in 2016, I moved over to the Detective Bureau.
Now, you mentioned that one of your specializations is computer cell phone forensics.
Cell phone forensics, yes.
Cell phone forensics.
I'm gonna be
Can you
back in
give a
a
general overview
few
to the jury of
minutes.
what in the world that means.
I attended a
Okay.
training that's put on by Salvador.
I'll
has
still be
software
listening so I can run
technology
back
to perform forensic
hopefully.
extractions on cell phones.
Okay.
and
My
pause it.
training was a week-long training that goes over how to extract the data and then also how to analyze the data and look at the data. That training I attended in March of 2019 in Indianapolis. And then I've taken several other classes in the area of digital forensics that have to do with social media as well as other cell phone stuff.
So how many classes roughly have you taken regarding cell phone forensics?
I would say between 6 and 10.
And how long have you been working on cell phone forensics in cases in your position right now?
Since March of 2019.
And do you only handle cell phone forensics for Westerville Police Department, or do you also get utilized with other police agencies?
I have done forensic extractions for other agencies as well, but primarily for Westerville cases. Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about well, I guess let me ask you this. Did you become involved in a case back on May 25th of 2020 involving the disappearance of Emily Noble?
I did.
And as part of your involvement, at least in part, were you asked to do cell phone forensics in that case?
I was.
And do you recall how many devices were you asked to perform a forensic analysis on?
The first one was initial device on the 26th of May on Emily's device, an iPhone 8 Plus.
Okay. Other than Emily's phone, were there other phones or devices you were asked to do
Yes, sir.
analyses on?
There were several.
Namely, at least in part, 3 cell phones?
Yes.
1 belonging to Emily, 2 belonging to Mr. Moore.
Yes.
So let's talk a little general about cell phone forensics. You're given a cell phone from a detective. Is that normally how it starts?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. Once the phone is given to you, or once you have the phone in your possession, what's your first step?
I want to
The
make sure that
direct
the phone
link is
in
too
secure
long to
mode and
post
powered on,
in chat.
and also in airplane mode to preserve the data that's in the phone. If the phone isn't connected, if the phone's connected to a network, if you don't put it in airplane mode or remove a SIM card, and it's connected to a network, the owner of the phone could possibly remotely access that device and possibly remote wipe the device.
So by putting it in airplane mode, taking it off the network, what is the hope? Why are you doing that?
To preserve the data that's on the phone.
After you do that, what's your next step?
Next step is
Sorry, Eris, I had to.
make sure that there's either a search warrant or consent form to perform an extraction on that device.
And assuming there's a search warrant and you have the permission from the owner to do so.
We did.
how do you go about
Sometimes
that
it
extraction?
doesn't
How do you go
work
about that
right
step?
the first time you
With the
click it.
iPhone, what I will do is we use what's called UFED.
Can you spell that for me, please?
UFED. It's for PC. It's a program developed by Salvador, and I will plug the phone into that program, and the computer basically walks me through what steps I need to do next to perform a forensic extraction on that device. It'll tell me if the device is supported. Sometimes newer phones aren't up to date yet with the software, so sometimes it takes a little bit of time before that gets up to the newer phones. But it'll tell me what options I have to perform an extraction, what data I possibly can get from that phone. And it's basically just clicking the button and letting the computer do the work. It could take half hour to 4 or 5, 6 hours to do a complete extraction from the phone. After that extraction is complete, I take the data that was copied from there and I place that into what's called Physical Analyzer. Physical Analyzer parses out that data and puts it into a nice program that makes it easier for us to read.
So when you're talking about the extraction process, does that put it in a form that now becomes searchable by either yourself or other detectives?
It does.
And what's the purpose of extracting that data and making that searchable as opposed to just searching it on the phone itself?
Can you repeat that again for me?
Sure. When you extract that data, that's the data, that extraction that you're then search going forward, correct?
Yes,
Or run reports on going forward?
absolutely, yes.
Why would you do it on that extraction as opposed to the physical phone itself?
If you would do it on the physical phone, then you're changing the integrity of the phone and you're adding more events and stuff to the phone. So you want to use the extraction, which was the preserved evidence that you had.
Is it fair to say it sort of takes a snapshot of the phone and what's on that phone in that moment,
Yes, it does.
and then allows you to search based on what was on the phone once it came into your possession and you put it in airplane mode?
Yes, sometimes detectives will ask me specifically to go through it because they're not comfortable with the physical analyzer and kind of tell me what type of case they're working on. And I may be able to search for them a lot easier. Sometimes detectives preferably like just to look through it themselves if they know the case better than I do. I'll just provide that data back to them to review.
Now, you've mentioned Physical Analyzer, and I think I sort of derailed this a couple minutes ago, but can you explain what Physical Analyzer is?
It's just a program, again, that makes it puts that data in, I want to say, human readable form. It allows us to understand it and puts it in different type of applications that you can click on and open up, and it can show you anywhere from the chat messages to the pictures to the videos to call logs. It shows you all kinds of data and makes it easier to view.
And are there different types of phone extractions that can be done?
There are.
And what are those?
There's a logical file system and then a physical.
And why are there different
Thanks,
types?
Mass. We'll
Because there's
try
different
that.
operating devices, such as an Apple is an iOS operating system, which is an iPhone operating system, and then there's Android, which is like your Samsung Galaxy or something like that. So there's different operating systems, and there's different types of, like the physical would go more towards the Android, where a logical and file system would be more towards an iOS device.
Okay, so in some respects, it might be dependent on the device itself.
Yes.
In some instances, are you able to run multiple types of extractions?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Again, is that dependent on anything in particular?
It depends on the phone itself. What the device, what's supported on through Celebrite.
Again, when Physical Analyzer is being run, is that being run on the device itself or the extraction that you had just testified about earlier?
Physical Analyzer is running on the extraction itself, not the phone.
And again, why is it the protocol to run it on the extraction?
Then you're not changing the integrity of the device.
When you run an extraction, does that pull everything off the phone, or do you sometimes have to go into the phone and manually search for other items?
Sometimes it's hit or miss. It doesn't generally pull everything off the phone. Sometimes or I ask detectives to manually go through the phone. Sometimes you can go through a device and screenshot if it's allowed, if that phone's supported for screenshots or chats with different apps it has on the phone, but it all depends on the device, what's supported. Sometimes I ask detectives just to, if they don't, to thumb through it to see if they see anything else.
And you mentioned earlier, sometimes detectives ask you to search it yourself, maybe if you're involved in the case, or tell you about the case. Is that one aspect of things?
It is.
And in other cases, is it fair to say you're just asked to run the extraction and give it to another detective?
Yes.
Regarding the case that we're here for today involving the disappearance of Emily Noble, were you asked to take the 3 cell phones we mentioned earlier and run extractions on those?
I was.
And as part of that, were you able to successfully extract the data from the phone?
I was.
And those being, again, Emily Noble's phone and 2 phones belonging to Mr. Moore?
Yes.
No errors, no issues when you ran the extraction process?
Nothing that I saw.
Okay. And once you're able to run the extraction, were you able to pull that information up?
Yes.
Okay. And again, just review it to make sure there are no errors or issues.
That's correct.
Once you're able to run the extraction on those 3 devices, what then did you do with the extractions in this case?
I provided extractions to Detective Grubbs.
I'm sorry, may I approach? Detective, I'm going to have you look at what has been labeled States Exhibit 13, 14, and 15. You could flip through those. I know they're multiple page documents.
Sal, I posted something in the private chat for you.
Yes, sir.
And those 3 items, can you just identify what those items are that I've handed you?
Sure. The first one is an extraction report.
That's 13, sir.
Yes, sir. Number 13 is an extraction report that I completed for case number 2020-12540.
And let me stop you for a second. When we're talking about an extraction report, can you explain what an extraction report is?
Yeah, when you complete an extraction and move it to a physical analyzer, then what I do is, after it's in physical analyzer, I generate a report for the investigator or myself. The report is, it can be a PDF or report, Excel report, HTML report. It moves those over, and that's what
See,
generates
I'm using my
for the
phone
investigator
right
to look at.
now
So they're not getting a physical analyzer.
because
they're
my
getting
computer is
the
being
report. So they
trashed.
can't go in and change anything to that or anything, mark anything. But
So they can't go in and change anything, but is it a more user-friendly way to review the material that was taken off of the phone during the initial extraction?
it is.
The other 2 exhibits there as well, can you identify what those are?
Yes, state exhibits 14 and 15 are also extraction reports.
And specifically, were those 3 extraction reports that you created as a result of your dealings in this case?
Yes.
I think Sal is having his dinner right now.
Your Honor, as to publish States Exhibit 13, 14, 15 to the jury.
Any objection?
Detective, I know you just testified a little bit about this, but I want to make it clear what we're looking at here. So this is States Exhibit 13. I know you're familiar up there, so feel free to mark on the screen if it makes sense. But this initial box here, I'm sort of squaring off the top part. Can you give us a general idea of that area, the types of information provided in there?
Absolutely. It's a creation time of the report. It also provides Celebrite physical analyzer version at the top. And then I put it as an examiner. I examined the device. I did the extraction on the device, and I provide it to whoever the investigator is. I'll put their name in there and then the report number as well.
And as we work down to this second box that I'm drawing on the screen now, what type of information is usually contained on that part of the report?
It shows the extraction start time and end time. What it also shows is what the phone was there. It's an iPhone 8 Plus, and that's the model number there listed. And it shows what type of extraction type was taken. Here it shows the file system extraction.
And looking at the bottom, I'm going to flip the page, but there's an item there labeled device information. Is that fair?
Yes.
I know there's a lot of information here on page 2. I'll zoom out a little bit. Can you just give us a general flavor of what we're looking at here on page 2?
Absolutely. Here it's just going to be right here. It's an iPhone. So here is Apple ID account or email associated with the account. What I'm always looking for is this number right here, the IMEI number. How I compare that is a VIN number to a car. Every car has a specific VIN number. So each phone has a specific number that's its VIN number, we would say, or IMEI, International Mobile Equipment Identifier number. And that's what that stands for. So that's specific to the device. And that MSISDN number is the phone number that's on that device. And here tells a little bit about it as being, again, an iPhone 8 Plus.
So this little square here, MSISDN, you said that's the phone number that's associated to the phone?
Yes.
Is it fair to say the report sort of outlines or continues to go down, just give general information about the phone?
It does.
I'll take you now to what's page 4 of 6. Now we're on this section called contents above. Help if I could draw a better circle. Contents, that's even worse.
I can see it.
There we go. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What types of information are we looking at here for contents generally?
Here we're just showing what I look for is what was deleted there, deleted items. Also, it's telling cell towers if it's that data is turned on, they can see where it hit on cells. I'm also looking at chats or messages. This is iPhone. I could have iMessages that went through, and then calendar. If they keep a calendar on there, it has specific dates or anything, and say they have a birthday for someone or something on the calendar.
Would you agree with me that this is sort of the meat of the report?
Well, it is. Go ahead with your next question.
Detective, the items on the left in this sort of left column, what types of things, if anything, can you do with those items, those columns?
Those columns, you can it breaks it down of what's on that report. And if you look down and say Facebook Messenger, 153 items on that report, or Instagram, 40 items included in that report, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever that phone, whatever the extraction is pulled, it generates on this report.
Now, just as an example, we'll say chats recovered 1745, for example. Does this just give me a number, or is there a way to then look through those chats themselves?
You can actually look through those chats. When you pull up Cellbrite, the reader portion of it. It
Oh,
opens
they
up
do
a
for sure.
nice homepage, and you can just click on that tab, and you can open up and sort chats.
And is that something that something that you provide, whatever detective asks you for, to do those searches?
I do.
And did you do that in this case?
I did.
And who did you provide that information to?
Detective Grubbs.
Once you're able to provide him with the extraction and that reader, what does that allow, in your experience, what does that allow Detective Grubbs to do?
It allows him to look through the device report. He can sort data. He can review different types of data just by that homepage on what areas he's looking into.
This is still States Exhibit 13, page 2. I talked a little bit about this earlier, but I'm directing you to this line right here. Can you identify again what the MSISDN is?
That is the phone number that's assigned with that device. It's generally pulled off a SIM card. Sometimes they'll have a couple MSISDN numbers that were past numbers on that device. Just list the one there.
Okay. And I believe does that say last used?
It does say last used.
Have you looked at States Exhibit 14? Can you identify again what State Exhibit 14 is?
That again is a extraction report that was provided through Cellbrite of a device. It would be a device. The report number would be here at the top. I did the extraction, provided for that investigator, and it has my extraction start date and end date there.
And was there a specific device that was identified or that was extracted from?
Yes, it was a Samsung device right there, and it shows what type of extraction was completed in Advanced Logical.
This report is 7 pages in total. I'm going to flip to page 5 of 7. And looking at this page, again, what types of information is located here in the middle of the page?
It's showing me again the MSISDN or phone number attached to that. It's providing me the model and the make of the device as well.
Can you read what's the MSISDN number on this extraction?
It is 702-884-1010.
And now putting back up States Exhibit 13, page 2, can you read the MSISDN number that was identified on that extraction?
Yes, it's 1-702-884-1010.
States Exhibit 14. I know we just walked through the extraction on States Exhibit 13, but is it similar? Did you run it the same way or a different way than how you ran the phone in States Exhibit 13?
Similar way.
Okay. And would the report read in a similar way with that same information that you just identified in States Exhibit 13?
Yes.
Showing you now what's been labeled States Exhibit 15. Can you identify what we're looking at in States Exhibit 15?
Again, it's I ran extraction provided to Detective Grubbs. Here's our case number. Here's the start time, end time of extraction. It was an iPhone 8 Plus. That's the model number. And it was a file system extraction that was completed.
Again, is the report itself presented in a substantially similar way as the other two that we've talked about?
It is.
And flipping to page 3 of 9. From looking at page 3 of 9, you're able to identify a telephone number that's associated with the cell phone that was extracted in this exhibit.
Right there is the cell phone number, 1614-562-8814.
And you mentioned earlier Apple ID. Is there an Apple ID identified on this page of the document that you're able to extract from the phone?
It is. Here's the Apple ID that's associated with it. Also, here's the IMEI number. Oh, I crossed it off. That is associated with that device. Sorry about that.
Here, I'll have you do that one more time, please.
Let me get up there higher. There's that IMEI number. Like I was explaining, it's similar to a VIN number. And here is the Apple ID.
And what's the Apple ID associated with this phone?
It looks like enoble265@yahoo.com.
States Exhibit 13, 14, 15, do they appear to be true, accurate copies of the extraction reports you did in this case?
Yes, sir.
Again, after you completed the extractions, put the reports together, who did you provide those to?
Detective Grubbs.
Other than the cell phone extractions of these 3 devices, were you involved with any other cell phone related activities?
Yes, I did extractions on the persons, the ladies that found Emily.
Okay, the 3 individuals that located Emily Noble?
Yes.
Other than doing the cell phone forensics, were you involved in conducting any search warrants on any residences?
I was.
And what can you tell me about that?
Did a search warrant on Matt Moore's residence
Do you remember when that search warrant occurred?
on the 27th of May.
And when a search warrant is conducted, what are, when you walk into the home, what are the first things that you do in preparation of the search warrant?
Just make sure the scene's secure and there's no one inside the house. So when we're processing the scene, nobody can get hurt.
And what types of things do you do to process the scene or process an area that you're searching?
First, we take overall photographs of the scene.
And generally speaking, when you are taking photographs of a residence, how do you handle that?
We make sure everyone's out and we try to let the photographer get in there and take all their photographs.
Detective, may I have you look at what's been labeled States Exhibit 16 through 62. Can you take a moment to flip through those?
And Dave woke up and chose violence today.
Oh my God, your computer works.
Kind of. I hope so. I don't know what that all was about, but not gonna lie, I like the phone better for chat.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
States Exhibit 16 through 62, what do those purport to be?
I'm sorry, sir. What was that?
What do those exhibits I've handed you, what do they purport to be?
They look like photographs of the residence, Moore Noble's residence.
And you were involved in that process, correct?
I was.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, those pictures appear to be true and accurate based on the pictures taken from the scene that day?
They do.
I just want to ask to publish States Exhibit 16 through 62 to the jury.
Please proceed.
Detective, you've talked generally about search warrant taking photos of the scene. I want you to walk the jury through some of the pictures that were taken that day, okay?
Okay.
First, what's been labeled States Exhibit 16 to identify what we're looking at here.
Looking at the entry door on the west side of the living room.
And when you enter a room in the residence, what are you trying to do when you're taking pictures of that area?
You're just trying to get an overall of the area at first, unless you're seeing evidence that then you'll focus in and move in on that evidence and take photographs of.
Do you walk into a room and take one picture, or how does that process work?
You take several photographs of the whole, so you can get a different perspective from every angle of the room that you're at. And then once the room's done, then the detectives can come in and start processing that room.
States Exhibit 17. What are we looking at? State's Exhibit 17.
It's a different angle. Now looks like Detective French was taking the photographs his back's against that door area, and now he's shooting a shot out into the living room. And you can see the master bedroom door on the right there in the kitchen area.
And you can draw on the screen if that makes it easier too. I'm going to show you what's this B that's labeled on the floor there in the middle of the room.
We put down placards that label each room to identify each room.
State's Exhibit 18, same question.
Yes, sir. Again, it's a different angle of the camera where he took a photo, and here's master bedroom, and you can see a partial of the kitchen area here.
State's Exhibit 19.
That's another shot of the living room area. This time the camera's pointing more south. And here is a enclosed porch area, I would say. Master bedroom would be here, and then the entry door would be over in this area.
State's Exhibit 20, same question.
Yes, sir. It's just another angle of that living room area where you're seeing a partial to, I think I would call it the guest bedroom right here on this side.
Finally get it to work, and then all the humans want
Similar
to
picture of State's
interrupt.
Exhibit 21.
Again, a different angle of the overalls. And now you can see living room, guest bedroom door, and I would call it a guest bathroom, I would say.
Hi, Dry.
State's Exhibit 22.
Now you're seeing again the guest bathroom, and then we're moving more towards the kitchen area. Here's a dining area with a bookshelf.
State's Exhibit 23.
You have the kitchen area, and then you're leading out into the laundry, which would also lead into the garage.
State's Exhibit 24.
Another photograph of the kitchen area. You can see the kitchen area, and then laundry area, again, leading to the garage at a different angle.
State's Exhibit 25.
A different photograph of the kitchen area. Looks like more of a facing south.
State's Exhibit 26.
Photograph facing east through the laundry room into the garage, which is marked G out there. Laundry room marked F.
So
Sal,
again, the
did you
placards that we
post that
noted,
link in
earlier
private
picture.
chat, or did I post that link in private chat?
I did.
You okay? You having
State's Exhibit
your
27.
name the same as
Similar
mine is
picture of the
super
previous exhibit, is that fair?
confusing.
Similar.
I'm like, was that the link I
State's
sent you
Exhibit
earlier?
28. What are we looking at? Stage Exhibit 28.
No, it was
Yes,
for
sir.
something
Your,
else.
backs towards looks like
Okay.
the laundry room area, and the photography is the camera's
Okay,
pointing
now I
towards
see
the
what you're.
kitchen area and the
posted
dining room
on
area,
it.
and then you can see the guest bedroom and living room over here.
State's Exhibit 29.
Appears to be the guest bathroom, placard D.
I'll open it and save it for later to look
State's
at.
Exhibit 30.
E, it's room E, and it looks like it's maybe a guest room or just a room to hang out in, I guess.
State's Exhibit 31.
Again, it's room E, a different angle. You can see the desk area in there and has a chair, a couple chairs.
State's Exhibit 32. What are we looking at? State's Exhibit 32.
It would have been the prior room as well, just a different angle of that. I'm looking at a sofa. And then you can see the bathroom off the guest room there.
Is that the same bathroom that you notated in an earlier picture?
Yes, guest bathroom, I would say.
Masturbate room.
State's Exhibit 33.
That'd be the same room as noted before, just a different view. Now you're facing north into it looks like a closet area.
State's Exhibit 34.
Now we're back in the living room area. Looks like he is now done with that area, and we have a photo of a fireplace and some shelves. Looks like there's a handgun,
Oh my God.
magazine, and I don't know if
He
it's
has a
something there, flowers
pew-pew.
on that.
Guilty.
Oh,
And just sort of tying pictures together, does this appear to be the TV in the main living area?
It does appear to be the same, yes.
State's Exhibit 35.
That is the master bedroom area.
State's Exhibit 36.
Again, master bedroom area, a different angle, and you have placard C for master bedroom in there.
State's Exhibit 37.
That would be the walk-in closet in the master bedroom as you're looking north.
State's Exhibit 38.
That would be the master bedroom bathroom.
State's Exhibit 39.
Looks like it's a photograph of an angle from the bathroom of the master bedroom shooting out into the master bedroom, the bed area, and then that big window.
State's Exhibit 40.
Again, it's a different angle of a photograph that was taken from about the bathroom area shooting
like its feng
southwest
shui.
into the bedroom.
He's very good feng shui.
State's Exhibit 41.
Photograph of the master bedroom area shooting west into the apartment area.
Looks like there's a door over here on the right side of the picture. Where, to the best of your recollection, is that door lead?
That leads to the living room would be right over in this wall, would be on the other side of this wall, and then to the right of that would be the
I
kitchen
like
area.
your name
Straight on, you can
change.
see the entrance to, I believe, is the guest bathroom.
We're
Let me
complaining.
show you State's Exhibit 42.
Well, yeah, at least
That
now I
picture of the
know
picture
if
just
I'm
previous?
typing
Yes, sir, it is.
something or you are.
State's Exhibit 43.
That is the
Junior.
master bedroom area. It
Yes,
looks like a
I am
nightstand to the right of the bed.
So this area, sort of on the left side of the screen, that's looking at the bed on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side?
If you're at the foot of the bed and you're
Look.
facing it, it'd be to your right side.
Monkey, he's in the bed.
Now State's Exhibit 44.
I'm going to bed with
This
the prosecutor.
photograph would be if you're standing at the foot of the bed and you're looking at the left
Oh.
side of the bed.
State's Exhibit 45.
Now he's
That's the enclosed
going-
porch.
Oh, keep
David's
going.
pregnant?
State's Exhibit 46.
Another angle of the inside of the enclosed porch.
State's
How
Exhibit 47.
distant? Please, you should
That's
see
another
my
angle of the
setup.
inside porch facing west.
My cats just almost knocked my monitor off the other day.
That'd be the inside of the porch. And
I
there's a
just
sliding
watched
door
the
that would
clip
take you
from
into
when
the
they
living room area.
got you at the microphone that day.
Oh God, yeah.
Moving on to State's Exhibit 49.
Oh, they scared the crap out of me.
Photographs of the garage. You have the Subaru here and the Mercedes on here.
Yeah, I was on that couch back there.
State's Exhibit 50.
That's another photograph of the garage. You're facing east and the garage here, close to the door that would take you into the laundry room area.
Oh God. Why I'm always scared of a crime.
State's
Like
Exhibit 51.
cops having to
You're
come over to
outside
my
the garage,
house for whatever
shooting.
reason. Because it's like, why do you have
Now
like
State's Exhibit
15
52.
empty gallon
Again, you're outside
jugs
down on the
filled
driveway
with-
shooting into the garage area.
filled
and
with
you can see,
water
this
on
would
your
be the master
counter?
bedroom area.
Why do you have dirty dishes and underwear?
State's Exhibit 53.
That
Sal.
is the enclosed porch area.
Sorry,
And
was
are you
I?
able to see the front door, sort of where these pictures first started?
The side door here.
And just so we
Sorry.
understand, where would the garage be in location of the screened-in porch there?
It's over here on the other side of these bushes.
Quit playing with your tools, see?
Looking at State's Exhibit 54.
Looks like a missing persons flyer that was located in the residence.
Now, other than taking photos of the rooms and sort of spinning in circles to get different angles, what other types of things are you taking pictures of when you're processing scene?
We take pictures of documents, handwritings, evidence, anything like that.
State's Exhibit 55.
Looks like a handwritten note. It's dated here 10/27/19. Would you like me to go down through it, or is that?
No, that's fine. Thank you. State's Exhibit 56.
Looks like page 2 of another handwritten note.
State's Exhibit 57.
Those appear to be receipts from Jimmy V's
They went to
Dated
Jimmy V's. Guilty.
5/24/2020, and maybe 1/5/24. I can't read. Looks maybe 20.
They
I'll
didn't
be
write
right
in
back.
a
I
tip.
gotta send somebody something real quick.
State's Exhibit 58 is not a picture taken from the scene. Is that a fair assessment?
That's fair to say, yes.
Okay. Generally speaking, what are we looking here on page 58?
We're looking at crime scene log of what detectives or officers or whoever came onto the scene and entered the crime scene area.
Is that something that's typically done when a search warrant is conducted?
Yes.
And what is the purpose of that?
To keep integrity of the scene, to see who's in and out and what their function was.
State's Exhibit 59.
It's a scene sketch. It's just a basic drawing of the inside of the house where we put the placard, so the investigator knows what room is what. And if there's any evidence taken, we'll put if it was taken from room A, and we list room A, and then that investigator will know what room A was, being the kitchen.
So the letters that we're seeing here, E, B, A, those would match the placards that we've seen during the photos that we just walked through.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 60.
That would be from G, which was the garage, I believe. There you have 2 pairs of shoes.
State's Exhibit 61.
It's just here's the shoes, just taken back from a further back angle.
And lastly, State's Exhibit 62.
That is another photograph of the garage area, and this is where you would enter to go into the laundry area and then the kitchen into the residence.
Okay.
Well, that was a lot of pictures to go through, but is the hope to get pictures of the residence in various angles in the manner in which you walked into it?
Yes,
The photos we just walked through, again, do they appear to be true and accurate based on your recollection walking through during the search warrant and photos being taken?
they do.
I may just one moment, Your Honor.
Just one moment, y'all.
No further questions at this time. Thank you.
Your Honor, I need a few minutes. Thank you.
Get him. Get him, Diane. Thanks, C. I appreciate it.
Sorry, Detective, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm okay, thank you. Diane Ashley. I'm a bit confused because these aren't all the photos that were taken of the residence. Is that correct?
There was other photos.
So I'm trying to find those photos so that we can go through all the photos together. So I'm a little unprepared. But well,
It's in book one.
I just want to make sure the jury understands that the placards on the floor do not indicate any items of evidence there. Those are just marking the room.
Yes, ma'am.
So someone can say, in location B, this was found, and we would know where location B is.
Yes, ma'am.
And every room, including the laundry room, had a different location, did it not?
I believe so.
Fair to say that the execution of the warrant, when it was executed at 46 Abbey Cross, the scene was clear
Yes,
and secured so that, as you said, the photographer
Right.
and the officers, law
One
enforcement
T.
can come in and the area wouldn't be disturbed.
that's correct.
It was a surprise. It's not like you let Mr. Moore know that you were coming, right?
That I can't answer.
So just want to go through showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 23. I will find some closer up photos, but for now, Detective, if we could, do you see all of those pink cans right there?
I do.
And you were in the residence, obviously. Fair to say that those are Rheingeist Bubbles cans?
I am not a drinker, so I can't answer that question.
Okay. Those were all just on the cabinet then, or countertop?
Yeah, there are some cans on the counter. I can't tell what they are by the photograph, though.
And you remember, or do you remember those cans were empty?
I don't recall.
Surprise, surprise. He doesn't recall if her cans
Showing you
were
what's been marked
empty.
as State's Exhibit 25. The light comes across horribly. Just so we can zoom in, those are, do you see a vodka bottle in that picture?
He drinks alcohol.
There's like 2 bottles of
Guilty.
soap. Have you ever seen that Mr. Castle soap?
Is there any way you can circle that for me? Because
Sure.
I don't know
I'm
where
sorry.
you're looking at.
Right here.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that brand?
I am not.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
That's okay. Are you familiar with this? Looks like sparkling water bottles.
I'm not.
Okay. All
There
right.
we go.
I'm gonna just go through things that you're always as you're.
Hi.
And,
Hey,
Hey,
you're
How
thinking
are
of
you?
things that might have potential evidentiary value. Are you not? As you
We're just checking out your super clean house.
let
Yes.
me go get
Everybody-
my earbuds because I can barely hear.
okay,
Give me a second.
no worries. Sounds good.
go through a house like this,
You are.
and this is a rug right here,
Yes.
pictured in State's Exhibit 26.
I'm not exactly sure what exhibit it was in, but
I'm showing you what's been marked as 26.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And that rug, also depicted in State's Exhibit 27, that I'm showing the witness, Your Honor, is in what we call the laundry room,
Yes,
right in front of the washer and dryer, correct?
that is correct.
Showing you what's been marked as 28, and let me know if I need to come in and show you any closer. Tell the jurors if you see an ashtray on that counter at all. I'm happy to approach if you want to look at it. Sure.
Please.
If I may approach with State's Exhibit 28,
Yes.
and I'll probably do this, just ask you to look at every table or countertop
Thank you.
for an ashtray.
I don't see one on here.
Thank you.
Hey.
Showing you what's been
Oh, it's
marked on
Diane.
State's Exhibit 29.
Here's my lawyer.
You identified this as the guest bathroom. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
And again, there's a rug there.
There is.
And like
Oh,
the
this
rug
is the really
in
interesting part where they
laundry
go to
room,
the
it's white,
photos.
is it not?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
What a snooze fest this is.
yeah, I know.
it is.
Why do they even have this guy on there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Matt. Who am I speaking
Yes.
with?
Hi, Matt.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
Farrell.
this is Sal.
Hey.
My real name's also Matt. Yours is spelled way cooler.
So this is day 2. You said you're on day 2 of
Yeah.
critiquing the trial, and you guys are actually going through all of it, like every
Yes.
bit of it.
Yep, we're gonna show the whole thing. I mean, it's only a week long, so it doesn't take too long to get through.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Well, if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask.
Okay.
I'll do my best to.
we already
Yeah.
have some questions. What were you
Yeah.
writing down? You were writing down things through the whole trial.
She told me, Diane, my lawyer, said to she gave me a paper, and she says, anytime you have any thoughts or anything at all, any kind of feelings you have, write them down. And so that's what I was doing. What I was writing the first couple of days, I was writing stuff, and then I noticed that she wasn't really paying attention to anything I was writing, so I just stopped.
She just wanted you to have the outlet, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were things. Yeah, there were things that I wanted her to know. A few things, but she figured them out. She didn't even really need me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we
But,
could we could watch it all over your face, especially in the beginning of like we've watched so far.
Yeah. In the opening.
I'm sorry, I got like a million things going on. What do you want?
Sorry.
The Amazon
Here's
account?
the
All
same
right,
color, yes.
all right, I can do this.
Showing you
Same thing.
No worries.
I'm kind of like doing things at the same time, guys. So
No
go ahead.
problem.
I got my
You're fine.
earplugs in. So if you have any, go ahead and you can ask me any kind of question you want.
We've got a bunch of questions. I guess just I'll let you know, like for the interview, when we do it, we can kind of go over a lot of them. But yeah, as we play this, yeah, we'll let you know if we have any questions.
I wasn't really
really-
sure how you wanted this to go, so I have whatever you.
Yeah,
whatever you want.
I mean, we're flexible.
Right.
you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 30. Depicted on the couch there is a pillow.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct? And then I want to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 31. This right here is a sheet, is it not? A bed sheet, the white item?
It appears to be a sheet. Yes.
I have another viewpoint of it that I can get in just a second. And then State's
this
Exhibit
guy's haircut.
32.
You couldn't
There it
come
is.
up with it. I think they all get their haircuts at
Zoom in.
Yeah.
the same place.
This
Everybody
right
goes
over
to
here.
Remember the one guy? The one
appears to
guy
be
who
some
took
bedding.
pictures of the. He's like the camera guy. He took pictures of everything. He just had the worst.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get any worse of a haircut. I think they do that on purpose. I don't understand why they all not look like that. It's just,
It does look like bedding. Yes.
And
Yeah.
I want to zoom in a little further.
Okay. Here.
Amazon.
You see these shoes
You wanna
right down
pause it
here?
still?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah.
Distant is wondering if you know how it was possible that it took 4 months for them to find her.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Hey, just there was already stuff typed in when you started typing.
No worries.
Yeah, one second. One second.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, cool. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Go ahead. What was that?
Good. Or I guess just one of our distant here wants to know how it was that she wasn't discovered for 4 months in that area.
Why wasn't she discovered in 4 months?
Yeah, it seems like they should have been settled a lot sooner.
Yeah, the dogs where they don't work all the time. I've gotten this
No.
from missing person advocate friends of mine
Yeah.
who said that they just don't work all the time,
Yeah.
and they didn't have a lot of experience in Westerville. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times do you think
Right.
that dog was actually looking for a body? Never.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, never.
Yeah,
Maybe
for
once.
sure.
Those other dogs are being used all the time. So
Yeah.
it's my contention that they just they missed her. The dogs missed her.
Right.
So once they went through that area,
Yeah.
they never went back to search until those ladies decided to do it.
They
So
decided to
from-
search for her.
Yeah, I mean, they testify at trial. It's coming up.
Yeah, they testify. There's
Okay.
something.
There's no. I don't know why there wasn't anybody in the world that thought that she was in there. Nobody. But those
Yeah.
women
Right.
decided to go in there and look. So I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I
Okay.
really don't know. It's weird, right? It's
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing's weird, but yeah.
But
yeah.
it's my contention that she was there the whole time. They just missed her.
I think so too. That's what I feel like. I feel like she was there the whole time. It just
It depends on
Yeah.
how far down the hole you want to go. You know, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
aliens put her there. I don't know.
there you go. The police can't
Yeah.
find their own asses, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're dogs.
They're worthless. They're worthless. They're worthless.
Oh, yeah.
And you're about to find that out.
Those
The lead
were those
detec- the
collected
lead-
in
the lead-
evidence?
Go ahead. I'm good.
No, go ahead.
No, that's fine. No,
Okay.
I was
Sorry.
just gonna kid myself.
I'd have to look at the evidence sheet to see what was collected.
Okay, and this is State's Exhibit 32.
Okay. Yeah. You're here.
Hmm?
What was going through your head when her friends were talking?
her friends.
At
Friends.
trial,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
From like the first day.
The sister I adored. So I mean, and Amy, right?
Yeah.
Got up there, and she didn't really say anything. I don't think that was other. Well, her friends, her two friends, Sue, and I don't even remember the second friend. I barely knew her. I barely knew either one of them.
Oh, really?
Sue was no. I mean, they weren't her best friends, that's for sure. What they did is they went and found friends that were willing to say mean things about me, bad things.
Right. That's we talked about yesterday or the other day
Yeah.
when we were watching that. I said, where's her friends? The ones that she actually hangs out with? Because these
Right.
ones seem like they see her a couple times a year at best. And
Yeah.
Not even. I mean, once I came into her life, that Sue Kavanaugh, I mean, she got jealous and didn't want anything to do with our relationship. I mean,
That's the
Emily
vibe I
tried-
got.
yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious. I mean, that woman did not like me the first time I met her. I didn't care. What
Yeah.
do I care? I was just like,
Yeah.
whatever, you know. I went
Was
out
she
with
the
her
one you were
once
like too friendly with and tried to
No,
hug?
that's
And
that's
Oh, that was the other.
yeah, but I
Oh my
hated her
God,
every
he
time
was
I
too
saw her.
nice to me.
Yeah. You're right. Exactly. That was
Yeah.
super nice to her. That was a
Ugh.
friend that lived out of town, and I met her once right at the beginning of the relationship, or right at the beginning of our marriage.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know when she walked into the courtroom. I had no idea. I told my lawyers, like, I have never seen that woman before in my life. But I
Right.
did. I
Wow.
guess I spent time with her, and I just didn't remember her. So she wasn't that big of a deal. She wasn't that big of
Yeah.
a friend.
she
It was,
remembered you.
Yeah, she really did, right? She you could tell right from their actions, right from the get-go. As soon as Emily went missing, they're like, oh geez,
Yeah.
you know, let's just badmouth Matt. And the police were looking for people to badmouth
Yeah.
me, where her other friends
Right.
weren't.
And the media and everyone is trying
Oof,
to.
didn't they? You
make
saw
you-
it. You saw what they did to me. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
super awful that they
It was
can even do
disgusting.
this to people. I'm glad you
Her- her
recognize
s-
it, because oof.
Her,
Oh, yeah.
Her sister came across as needing something to blame because she didn't want to admit to herself that her sister would do that. And so she needed a bad guy. And of course, Emily's not going to be her bad guy because that's what you do when it's your sister and or somebody you love. And so
We got along super great, and if I mean, her mother loved me. When she first
Okay.
met me, she was like, "Hey, come meet. You got to get here early, Amy, because Emily's got a new boyfriend, and I really like him." It was like they put
Aw.
her on. I mean, why would they put her on the stand to say that? If you're the prosecution,
Right.
wouldn't you want? But I guess whatever. So they
Yeah.
and then Amy and I got along fine. I mean, she wasn't around a lot, but we text occasionally, and when we
Yeah.
did see each other, we got along fine.
So
we
do you have any? Do you have any kind of? Do you talk to her at all now, or do they not?
no,
sister-in-law?
she stole my home while I was in jail.
Right. Oh, that's right.
That was
If you
one of the
have you
questions
read
I
my
had.
book at all, or yeah?
I
No,
have
I
not
haven't
yet.
read it yet.
I'm
It's in the
definitely going to
book.
be getting it.
She pulled some legal maneuvers, and she stole my home while I was in jail. I'm homeless.
Right.
That home, the condo that we lived in, is gone because of Amy Thomas. She got an attorney named who was Emily's attorney was Thomas Teniff. They call him Tommy in town. Tommy, whatever. And he's just a lawyer. He's a sleazy lawyer. And
Of course.
he made a maneuver. I got my own attorney, Garth Cox. It was a high-priced scumbag in Columbus to try to fight for my rights, and he didn't do anything for me.
You weren't convicted. I mean, if you were convicted, I can see how they could contest the will. I don't understand how they could.
They did. He sued me for the executorship of the will. This Tommy Teniff did. Emily hired an attorney and it was her parents' attorney. His name's Thomas Teniff, and she made a TOD, transfer on death, on the condo right when she got it. And then when she married me, she made out a will and just left everything to me. Really super simple. I'm married now. I have a husband.
Yeah.
If anything happens to me, everything goes to my husband and then to my son Joey. None of that happened. None of it.
Right.
They just did what they do. And even after I got out, when I was acquitted, they just kept doing it. Because they're lawyers, and everything's extremely expensive, and the house is gone already. There's nothing I can do about any of it, except keep paying lawyers. So at some point,
what good is that going to do?
Everybody knows everybody in Central Ohio. All those lawyers know each other. All the judges, they all do business with each other all the time. They screwed up. That's what they did. They screwed up, and they were just like, "Well, what are we going to do? Turn this thing around? You can't."
Yeah,
you can't.
They thought you were guilty, so I guess go ahead and.
It was carte blanche. They could do whatever they want to me, and that's what they did. Yeah, and when I got out, I did my best to just try to. I fought a little bit. I threw another $10,000 at it, and it just wasn't going to work out. And I said, you know what? I'm just done. I can't do this paying lawyers thing anymore because you can't trust your own lawyer. The lawyers are just as bad as the police in that town.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just got to get out of there and start over, I guess.
That's what I did. That's what I've done. It just
now you have a very cynical view of lawyers, understandably so.
Totally.
Your relationship with Diane Menashe, how do you view her now? Before, what are your thoughts?
I get critical about her in my book.
Okay,
but she did so very well, and I don't know if any other lawyer could have done what she did. So I can't. She's just incredible. What she did for me, she saved my life. So I really can't. I don't know what to say. But she's part of the same system. She's just another cog in the system. So, but she did an amazing job. And if you watch the trial, I mean, every time she crosses anybody, it's like, she's amazing. She does amazing.
I mean, I've seen her in two different the Jose Baez trial,
right?
She is just a beast of a lawyer. So
she memorized everything. I mean, every nook and cranny of my case. I've never been a part of anything. I never watched a trial. I would hate for a lawyer to show up and not know your case. But she knew every part of everything.
Yeah.
She knew the case better than I did.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Iris, could you throw that link up there for his book again, or somebody,
yes,
so
please.
I can pin it? I wasn't able to pin earlier. Yeah. And then there's also a link for your Instagram where Matt has a bunch of his art.
I sent you one on Facebook, I guess. I'm not really good at this. I don't know how all this works, but I do have a book and I'm working on the soft cover. That's what I was just doing right now because people want
nice.
like a tangible book.
Right.
And that's all I really got going on right now. So that's doing interviews
now,
and trying to tell everybody I have a book.
Yeah, definitely. Right. There was Shelly in the chat. Oh, she's here right now. I think she contacted you on Instagram to figure out to write her back in Instagram to see how we can.
She wants to buy some art or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, buy some art.
Is that what it was, Shelly?
Cool. Yes, I'm an artist. I drew a picture
Okay.
yesterday when I was doing one of these trial plays.
Yes.
I'm sure.
She's
Yeah,
legit. She's not a weirdo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just write you on Instagram or how? I mean, if people want to.
The best
purchase
way to
your
do
artwork.
it is to become friends with me on Facebook.
Okay.
Or not friends, but follow me on
Yeah.
Facebook and then message me via Facebook.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all
Awesome.
I got going on right now because that's all I know how to do. Facebook.
Sure.
Pretty much.
No, they're
I do
amazing.
have an Instagram, but it's
Yeah.
And I
Facebook,
have his Facebook link too. I'll share it in the chat,
Okay.
and then I'll also post it in Discord so people can
Yeah.
get it
There's
later.
not a lot of people that spell their name like me. It's just spelled
I know.
Matheau, and there's only
It's
Yeah,
two,
very
so I'm-
weird, or not weird. It's cool.
It's
I mean,
unique.
I'm kind of jealous. I didn't
French.
think of it. Basically, is
I
it
think
French?
I think
I
your
think
mother
so.
would
My
have had to
mom-
think of it.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's very unusual, but cool.
Well, it was always kind of a pain, but now it's kind of a blessing because
Yeah,
it
you're very
separates
distant.
my Matthew.
So you get arrested.
Do you want to do like an interview and then critique,
Yeah.
or how do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, just to ask you some.
Yeah,
I mean, I got.
let's finish this out, Sal, and then
Okay.
I want to read the book before we.
Okay.
I
That
bought
sounds
it
good.
and I just haven't done it yet.
All right.
That's fine. It's a quick read too. It's only 180 pages. So.
Okay, maybe I'll read it tonight.
So is it like you want me to like? When do you want to do the like initial? Do you want me to sit with you for a little bit here and watch
If
the
you
trial?
want,
or-
if you want to.
Yeah. I got about 40 more
Okay.
minutes.
All right.
Up
All
to
right, I
you.
can do 40 with it. I can
Okay.
do 40 with it. There's literally this guy says nothing. So
I know.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
the whole trial, they really say nothing because
Well, yeah.
all
This is
their
more of
evidence is, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
Well, he
This
did
guy
a
literally-
weird
this-
thing right here. Well, yeah, look at his life up to this point.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make anything that you did weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try to make it out to be such a like at this point I'm manipulating everybody. I'm lying.
Yeah.
I'm so
Oh,
smart that I can
You're
clever that I'm like-
staging. Yeah.
I'm staging.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to that yet? The staging? Yeah, you saw that, right? Do you understand that?
I watched the trial before. I live in Central Ohio, so
Oh, okay.
that's why we kind of wanted to do it again too.
Do you understand the what the cord is about? Do you understand the
Yeah.
moving of the cooler? Do you understand what they're trying to say?
that you were setting it up for when they found her because
I think we're on H.
Yeah.
They're saying that I said that I didn't move the cooler. Right. And they said I think they made the allegation afterwards that even the cord was up and I moved it. And they made some sort of thing like, well, how could she ever get the cord if it's up on the thing? He would have had to have done it. I mean, there was step stools all over there was literally Emily's house. It had every room had a step stool in it because she's been 5 foot nothing for her entire life, right? So there were
Yeah.
step stools everywhere. I mean, it was just silly, right? And
Yeah.
what they were saying is I was moving it, and then I say, hey, I didn't touch anything over here. I didn't put this cord here. But they were saying, hey, he's saying that he didn't move the cooler, and he's obviously moved the cooler because we have it on film. So they're lying to you when they say
That was so
when he's
stupid.
on stage, upstage, because that's what it is, a stage, really. It's not court. I don't know if you're to that part of the trial yet.
I don't think we've hit.
We
that
have our stream hasn't yet.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I remember what you're talking about, but yeah, we haven't got there
Right.
yet. That was so dumb.
Look at that guy's head.
Those shoes that I just showed you in 32, States Exhibit 32, those are right by that couch. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And they appeared to be tied. I know that they weren't collected in
Oh,
evidence,
God.
but do you remember seeing them?
I don't.
Want to show you what I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit H. You recognize this photo?
Yes, ma'am.
This is one of the photos that was taken at the scene,
Yes, ma'am.
but was not in the stack that you were identified on direct.
I believe it was.
It was?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. So I wanted to zoom in for a purpose here. Based
See the
on
way
remembering
she
at the
ties
scene,
her
do you remember those
sneakers?
shoes being there in the garage?
I don't.
Do you see?
You got it going fast.
This right here and how these
Oh,
shoes
yeah,
are
sorry.
tied. Do
Yeah.
you see that?
I can't.
And we know
No, it's
from
fine.
the
I
placard
don't mind.
that
No,
these
it's
were in
fine.
what location?
A G, which is the garage.
We listened to a lot of trials, so we're used to listening to them quickly.
Right.
Is a better view, is it not, of that, the sheet on that chair?
Can you zoom it? Thank you.
Yes.
It appears to be a sheet, I believe, yes.
That's State's Exhibit 33 for the record. Showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 37. Let me zoom out. Do you see, and it's hard to see what it is, but I'm just directing your attention to the general area. There appears to be a black item right there on the shelf. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 38. That is the, if I called it the master bathroom, does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
This is, we're looking at here, the master bath, are we not?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a walk-in shower. Yes,
And this right here is another white rug
it is.
and a white towel
Yes, ma'am.
and a white towel here.
Appears to be, yes.
And I say this because of your experience and expertise. You understand that fibers and trace and hair, those can often be found on materials like rugs or towels or sheets.
Absolutely, yes.
And by trace evidence, I want to just see here in the bedroom, if we could, and let me know if you want me to come up with a picture. But do you see an ashtray on that nightstand there or that dresser?
I see something on the left.
The
that looks like a big
smoking,
rock.
the
I don't know if that's an
smoking.
ashtray or not.
The smoking.
Zoom in.
Oh, yeah.
You said the big
If
rock.
you want to talk about
State's
that,
goal,
I don't
obviously.
know if you.
You mean this right?
That's
Yeah.
what we talked about it the other day a lot.
Oh yeah. So,
Uh,
were you smoking?
I was smoking probably after my brother left, which would have been almost 3 weeks after she went missing. Is when I
Okay.
asked Kramer from across the street
Yeah.
to buy me, but because by then I was smoking in the garage, and I just said, you know what?
Right.
But they made it out that I was smoking that day, the 25th.
Yes, they did.
In the house?
Because of in the house, because of this guy across the street, Kramer, said that he went and did that for me. If that was such an issue, there was police and people all over my house for the first 3 days. If
Ooh.
everybody would have seen me smoking.
Even if
They
you
didn't have
did,
anybody-
who cares?
but I
It's your
wasn't. I
house,
wasn't.
right? But
I
even if
wasn't
you did,
smoking. She
and
would've
you're
been-
in a stressful situation, like
But
it was so silly.
That was. She was in my eyes. She was alive. She was coming home. The last thing I
Right.
would have done was started smoking, and I didn't. There was nobody,
Yeah.
because they would have had other people up there saying, "Hey, he was chain smoking. He was crazy." And Emily would have never allowed smoke. But then it was just some old random dude across the street that said, you know, he saw me.
Well, that's what I
was
said.
3
Tell me about all the times that you've been in Emily's house. Anyway, how do you know that?
Right.
Like, I
Never.
don't know.
He never would have known. He never
See,
would've known.
that's
He never
yeah.
would have known.
They used him for a lot of their bull crappery.
They put him on the stand, and he admitted that he saw her Monday between 9:30 and 10. Case closed. It's after the fact. You put my star witness on the stand for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And he admitted it. Well, it could have been the day before. We weren't there the day before.
Yeah. Well, and it couldn't. He wasn't either, was he? Where he was like he knew every other thing that he did, and he knew that he went and drank coffee or whatever at the restaurant, but now you're gonna say, oh well, it could have been a different day.
Yeah.
He saw her. He told everybody he saw her. They came out with the Westerville Police Department came out with a statement to everyone saying that she was seen between 9 and 10 on Monday. This was Tuesday. So he was
Okay.
telling everybody. He was telling me. He was telling everybody that he saw. He said, "Yeah, I
Right.
saw her Monday."
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was like, "Hey, that's a really, really good thing because what's going to happen to her on Monday morning in Westerville? Nothing."
Right.
Okay. Real quick, did you? Oh,
I'm sorry. This is super important.
No worries.
Really,
You're
really,
fine.
really sorry. Hang on a
no
second.
worries.
So
Cool.
everything's done, but we got to work on like the pricing and stuff.
All right. Should we do that now? Let me get back there. Can I get back to you guys? You
Yeah,
guys gonna be doing
for
this
sure.
for a while?
Yes. Yeah, we'll be doing
We're
it
going
for-
about another 30 minutes, I think, or
All
unless
right.
you want to
Let
go
me get
longer.
But we can do it another day too. That's fine.
Yeah.
You have stuff to do.
Right.
So
Just
No worries.
Send me an email or send me like what you did today.
Anytime.
Whatever. How I do.
Yep.
Okay, guys. Thank you. look
Yes,
forward to
thank you,
talking to
Matt.
Cool. Okay.
Nice seeing you.
All right.
Bye.
Enjoy yourself. Bye.
Thanks, you too.
So it was all.
What a nice guy.
I got everything.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he's still there. Can you remove him?
There we
Okay.
go.
I didn't want anything to like.
Right. I didn't realize it was still.
No worries.
I saw it drop off the
Right here?
screen. So.
Yes, I don't know what that is.
And
No,
then
it
I
looks
wanna
like he's
ask you
really
about
busy.
the-
So
Showing you State's Exhibit 43. An ashtray there.
I will, Eris. I'll message him.
yeah, I really wanted to ask him about that, but no, it's yeah, just any time he can spend with us is we'll do everything we can for his book and I'll help him.
Not sure, not, it's hard to tell. I can see what you're, if you're talking about this.
Nope, may I
There
approach
they
you,
went.
State's Exhibit 43? Let me see if you see an ashtray or any cigarettes anywhere.
That
Listen,
just looks like
Fed.
some rocks to me.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And showing you 46 or 47, if I may approach, Your Honor.
Yes.
This table just next to the chair on the attic.
That's their theory of the
That's what
case.
those
His
photos
motive
are.
was
You see
to
the
smoke
cigarette
in the house.
ashtray.
Don't believe some of these photos now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I miss. Let me go look.
The Kramer thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask him about that.
I'll probably DM him up, but I don't know that he wants to talk about that or.
Showing you with the mark to State's
Oh.
Exhibit 55.
Yeah, we may
Down
want to
to
give him
56.
heads up first.
It says Matt's goals. Do you see that? 10/27/19.
I do.
No more Valium. Sleep through the night. Do you see how things are listed and then have a check mark by them? Some of them.
Yes.
You see, guitar, smoothies, cook, help clean the place. Those are all checked, are they not?
Yes.
And there's a no alcohol until Emily gets home, and that's 5 p.m.
Oh.
And that's checked.
Yes.
There's
Positive
a
thoughts, meditate, not checked.
Oh my
Verdict in
God,
your
he's
case.
trying to work
Says
on
when
his
you check, you also
alcoholism.
breathe. Deep
Guilty.
breaths.
there's a verdict
Yes,
in your
And
case
remember, Emily, and so many
Seriously?
people love Matt.
in
Go
Purse
ahead.
House.
You see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you cards. No rush. Try the gym. That's not checked either, is it?
It's not.
And then page 2 of that same notebook is marked as State's Exhibit 56. And the list goes on: is draw,
Yeah, it
call
just. I
important
don't know if
people
you
about
want
the
to.
phone, have positive experiences, movies, golf, talk to friends. Do you see that?
What
I
you
do.
guys want to do?
No,
Those
I'll
are
probably
checked.
do it with
Yes.
you.
Get Emily a new phone.
Oh, I know.
Heart,
I
heart, that's
didn't
checked.
know if you guys wanted
Lose
to
weight.
go do
Um,
that or
Blood
what.
was checked by someone. It appears, is it not?
But
It's
what
going to
is
be a
this?
while
Yes,
yet. I think like
Yes,
half
yes.
an hour probably.
It was fixed.
Yes, yes, it was.
Deposit checks,
So, I'll
toast
just
with
cover it with
rainwater.
Okay.
And I missed one, made progress on mom's estate, mailed letters. Do you see that?
I do.
I didn't know when they were gonna
And
do
showing
it. I
with
just
the
saw
marked
it pop
State's
up on
Yeah.
my.
Exhibit 57.
I'm looking.
Twitter
These
feed,
receipts
so-
that were found at the house, do you see there the dates on those receipts?
I do.
And what are the dates?
3
Well, the one on
minutes
the right is
ago. Okay.
524 and it's got a 0 at the end. I want to say
So
2020,
yeah,
that's
it'll be
what you
half
see
an
on the
hour or
screen.
so.
Another one is 524 2020.
And you would agree with me, it almost looks like they're the same receipt, just 2 copies of it.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Guest copy and then whatever the other receipt is, however they print out.
One at State's Exhibit 58. This is essentially this is the log that you testified into direct, where you make note of any person that comes into the area so that you have a record of it.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to note here that the canine dog, Danielle Fate, is noted as time entering as 6:30. Do you agree with me on that?
Yes, ma'am.
And then once the individual leaves the house, they must note their exit time as well. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so the canine dog with Danielle Fate
I probably
leaves
am.
the house at
I make
7:02
lists for
p.m. according to the
everything.
law.
That's right.
And I trust as an officer in the importance of this exercise is that keeping signing in and signing out is important.
Yes, ma'am.
So the math on that is the dog is in the house from 6:30 to 7:02 p.m.
Yes. I wouldn't say not necessarily in the house, but within on the property.
Is
Within, that's past the into the driveway area and into my crime scene area. Yes.
okay. So good distinction. You had the crime scene tape up.
It wasn't, but I was outside for scene security, making sure no one else entered that area enter the residence at all.
So fair to say that that would have included that driveway up to the garage,
Yes.
the garage itself,
Yes, ma'am.
the 800 or 900 square feet of living space, right?
Yes.
And it's within that area, that general crime scene where that dog is from 6:30 to 7:02.
Yes.
I'm on defense exhibit HI, I believe. I'm on I. Yes, thank you. Is that right?
Yeah.
There was a photo in the stack of a sliding door on the attic with a sticky note. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Okay. Showing you what's been marked as defendant's exhibit I. Now that I show you that picture, does that look familiar to you?
It does. I don't think it's on the attic though. It's on the porch. Screen.
You're right. I'm thinking of you're right. It's on the screened-in porch.
Yes, ma'am.
There was a slider door, was there not?
There was.
And there was a sticky note on it.
That's correct.
And this sticky note in the original stack of photos you were shown?
It was not.
And so I just want to zoom in here. Do you recognize this photo?
I do.
Fair and accurate of one of the photos that was
Zoom
taken at the
more.
scene.
It is.
And the note says, I went out looking for her on my bike. I'll be back 9, stick around. Do you see that?
Yes.
Hmm.
I want to show you a series of photos, if I could, of the Ultima, because there was a number of photographs taken of the Ultima. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yes.
And I'll just mark the series, if you don't mind. As J. I'll mark this as J1, showing you what's been marked as defense exhibit J1. Do you recognize that?
I do.
And what is it?
That's a Nissan that was parked in the driveway.
Showing you J2, defense exhibits. Does that appear to be the trunk of the same
Yeah,
car?
I agree.
Yes, ma'am.
Just confused. That's a lot of them.
The
that we
interior
watch
of that
are
car
like
was
that.
photographed, was it not?
It was.
Showing you what's been marked as J3.
Throw everything at the wall and hope something sticks or
Man, the lighting's
confuses.
so bad, but if does it look? Do you remember that this right here is this folds down? Does that look familiar to you?
Yes, that's the rear seat, and then to the left, you're looking into the, I believe, the trunk area.
And so this right here is kind of, if it wasn't folded down, the seats would meet up together.
Yes.
And there appears to be like some sort of debris, if you will, right, in the car.
I would agree.
Okay. And this is a toolbox in the trunk,
Yes, ma'am.
and a spare license plate, it appears.
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's been marked as J4, defense exhibit. This is the front of the Ultima. Would you agree with me on that?
I would agree. Yes.
And showing you what's been marked as J5. This is the interior trunk of the Ultima. Would you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
And appears obviously golf clubs here.
Yes.
There's like a pair of golf shoes over there. Do you see that?
I can see the end of them. Yes.
And there's that toolbox to orient the jurors right up there that we saw from the other angle.
Yes, ma'am.
J6, interior of the Ultima.
No, that's.
Oh, I'm sorry. We moved on to the Subaru.
Yes.
Interior of the Subaru.
Yes, ma'am.
J7, other shot of the interior of the Subaru.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you agree with me? This is like there's almost a pad on the seat which a driver would sit on.
It looks like a pillow, couch pillow or something.
J8 is the passenger seats of the Subaru. Do you recognize that?
Yes, ma'am.
J9 is the rear of the Subaru. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then at some point, was there a picture taken of the interior contents of the Subaru?
Yes, there's the trunk area.
Showing the witness what's been marked as defense exhibit J10. Contents of the Subaru. There's some bags here. Obviously, this sort of looks like some kind of book or a box, and there's some miscellaneous items in the box or in the back.
Yes, ma'am.
And this right here, it's one of those kind of collapsible covers that you can extend on a trunk. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Where when the lid is down and this is pulled, you can't see into the trunk.
Yes.
All of those pictures that I just showed you, those were taken by your department?
They were.
Fair and accurate copies of what you saw that day?
Yes.
I know, even their footer is tidy.
Since I labeled all the car photos J, I'll do defense exhibit K. just to orient you, it's a closer photograph showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit K. Do those appear to be the same tensions that were in the photo that you've seen previously?
Or her sister sent
just to orient for the
pictures
photo,
of
there's a
his
yellow book
tennis
next to
or
those.
his shoes
God.
as examples of his knot tying to see if the cord was tied the way Matt tied his shoes.
Matt Moore was in the Boy Scouts. Guilty.
Moving away from photos. Thank you for your patience with us.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought I heard you, but I want to make sure I understand.
Using a USB cord seems like a silly if
the
you're
area
gonna
and found Emily's remains.
do somebody
Did I hear
else
your
in.
testimony right that you did extraction reports? of
Yeah,
this?
Especially when you have other things right there in the garage. Very easy
And you
to
would have given those
find.
extractions to Detective
Yeah, like the
Robson.
extension
And when
cord.
did you do those extractions?
That big, thick gauge extension
I
cord.
believe the
Yeah.
night that Emily was located.
I don't know why
Were
the
there
USB
pictures on those
cord.
phones of the remains?
I know, Babu.
Uh,
I think she
believe so.
probably intended
So they
on
would've been
going
the very
out and
first
doing
people
what
to see
she
the
did,
remains.
and
As the people that found
it
them.
was something she could carry with her and
You allowed
not
to do
be
extractions of 3 phones.
That's correct.
Oh.
like it'd be kind of weird if you walked out of the house with an extension cord.
Oh. Yeah, because you could
I
just
mean-
roll up an extension, 6-foot extension cord in your
With
pocket,
respect to cell phones.
Yeah.
but like a
The
8 gauge
initial
thick
extractions you talked about in States Exhibit
100-foot
14, 15, and 16.
bright yellow or
Those
bright
are
orange
3 separate
extension
phones,
cord.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not really
2
concealable.
iPhones and an Android, does that sound right?
That sounds right.
Just want to make sure. Showing you what's been marked as States Exhibit 14. The extraction start time on 14 is June 22nd of 2021.
His son.
Do you see that?
Yeah, that's what the report shows. That's
Exactly. Oh,
source
okay.
extraction.
Yeah,
Can
you're
you go to
right.
the top one?
I absolutely can. I can also approach if you ever need.
Yeah, you're right,
Nope.
Distant. So it was kind of symbolic.
Yes, that's what it shows.
And then it shows that the
Her
report is
stepson, but
created
yeah,
on
so.
1/19/22.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is States Exhibit 14. I want to show you States Exhibit 15. Do you see the extraction date and time for 15?
I do.
And that is 6/10 of 2020. Do you see that?
I do.
And the report created is 1/24 of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, I'm sorry, I went in, I should have started with 13. I didn't do that intentionally. States Exhibit 13. Extraction date there is June 5th of 2020. And then the report is 1/25 of 22.
Yes.
So it looks as if States Exhibit 13, which is currently being displayed in a very fuzzy way, is the first extraction. The second extraction is States Exhibit 15 on 6/10 of 20. Do you see that?
I do.
And then the third extraction is States Exhibit 14, which is June 22nd of 2021.
Yes, for
See
3
that?
devices. Yes.
Couple of questions I have here. The iPhone that you talked about with respect to the Apple ID. So 1 second. Showing you what's been marked as States Exhibit 15. You indicated for the jurors that the Apple ID on this phone is eNoble 265.
Yeah, that's the first Apple ID listed. I see on the report must be a backup. I can't answer technically how that responds, but looks like there's a second Apple ID on there as well.
And that's why I asked this. There's actually a second Apple ID. And can you read that for the jurors?
It says, looks like me first, please 303 at yahoo.com.
And that's States Exhibit 15. Fair to say that there are times when you get cell phones and you cannot easily access the phone because they're password protected.
That's correct.
And in this instance, you had the passcodes for Emily for each of the phones, did you not?
That's correct.
And those passwords, if you know, were provided to law enforcement by Mathew.
I believe so, yes.
There was a subject workup that you did in this case. Do you remember that?
That I had done?
That you requested be done?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think you put in that request on late May or early June. Let me know if you need me to approach, but fair to say that it indicates that the subject workup was completed and forwarded on June 4th of 2020.
I'd have to see exact dates to.
If I may approach, would it help to refresh your recollection?
Yes, ma'am, it would.
If I may approach, just to refresh.
40 minutes. See if this is too
And
fast.
tell me if it doesn't look familiar. I just see your name on it.
Yeah, I see my name on it. It doesn't look familiar to me. I don't recall this.
Okay, but am I wrong that your name's on that?
My name's on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's why I was going to ask you questions about it because your name was on it.
Yes, I've never seen. I don't remember this document.
Okay. All right. And I think it's your first and last name, is it not?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
A moment, Ron, while I go with my notes.
Right?
Nothing further. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I was going to say, I think he's just about done. And then it's because they have some argument at the end of the day.
Okay. Do you want to?
Because, yeah, we can end now. And that way you can get
Okay.
to your next stream and people can go
Yeah, I'm
check
sorry.
out you and EU. And I think Mo is also streaming soon. And
Yeah, Mo's doing her nightly news, and I'm doing EU and me, EU and I. Sorry, EU and I.
You're doing EU? All
No,
right.
EU and I. No, I'm doing proper English. EU and I are doing Halderson, and we're gonna cover the Purse House verdict.
Okay.
So yeah, we will be live at 4.
Sounds good. All right. Well, yeah, we'll just pick this up and finish this off next this weekend, I think, sometime. And thou and EU. There we go. But yeah, we'll pick this up and wrap this little part up and hit up day 3 next time. And I think we might do it. Well, we're gonna try this weekend, and then maybe we'll hit a little bit later in the day next week.
Yeah, yeah, that would be great.
Switch time slots with you and EU's stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think Mathew is more
More available
than
later.
Yeah, so I don't want to rush him or pressure him, but
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the link, so I don't want to. My computer is being very testy today, so I don't want to pull up anything extra.
yeah, or she'll have 2 hours of Windows updates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks
Remind me
for-
to get with about the administration settings there.
Right.
There's a good
All
reason
right.
for it. So yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Go check out
Like-
EU and Sal and Mo, and I think
Yep.
David's even running right now too. And
Yep.
so, all right, we'll see you next time.
Alrighty. Bye.